entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Is this not why you are here? Come on. Come on, throw it at me. Here we go. Oh, man, chat's going to be lit. Lit today. Absolutely lit. Torch is in the chat. Sam Bada's in the chat. You guys better behave yourselves, especially for this one. Oh, no! Fresh is slipping. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. No, I can't believe it. Say it ain't so, Refresh. Say it ain't so. Oh. Oh, man. Oh, let's just get things started. What the heck? Oh, yeah, there we go. This is the time I switch over from echo cancellation. Excuse me. There we go. Shh, shh. Everybody in the crowd, be quiet. Be very, very quiet now.
I mean, me personally, I don't agree with everything he be saying, but some of the stuff he says is true. So he aight.
Kevin Samuels is a monster. Okay, the way he disrespects black women is unacceptable. I mean, to even suggest that our black queens are anything less than flawless and infallible is downright blasphemy. Okay, a black woman can do no wrong. You know, I'm an alpha man. You know, I'm a high value black man. And ain't no black woman about to be disrespecting me, okay? She gonna be respectful, she gonna be quiet, and she gonna be submissive. For real. But yeah, man, let me call you back though. I gotta get ready to go clock in at McDonald's. Alright.
Do you even listen to Kevin Samuels? No, don't overtalk me. I'm not trying to be rude, but you're average at best. Oh, you're not average. Alright, let's do it then. Dress size.
Thank you for that, Torch. It was too good not to include in today as the intro for today's show. I liked that a lot. Today's going to be very video heavy and very audio heavy. And speaking of video heavy, wait a minute. What's this? Oh, new camera angle. How you like that? I'm still monkeying around with the lighting and positioning and everything. This goddamn bar is getting in the way too. So I don't know how much I'll use it today, but new camera angle. You guys like that? How's that? Pretty cool, huh? That'll be the camera that I am taking with me to Miami, Florida as of Tuesday. I'll be on the airplane. And I will be flying out via, where am I going? I think I'm going through Denver. So if you see me walking around Denver for my transfer, that'll be me. Yeah. I'll probably have my Randall amplifiers shirt on. That's my traveling shirt. I don't know why. It's just comfortable. You know, I try to be as comfortable as I can when I'm flying. So I will be out in Miami starting, technically Tuesday, but Wednesday through, I'll be flying back on Sunday. I have some other big announcements that I'm going to make later on in the show, so you stick around. The other thing is I will be having my good friend, Fresh from, Fresh Prince CEO from the Fresh and Fit podcast, the ever popular Fresh and Fit podcast. You see, something happened recently with my good friend Fresh's life. And you guys are very fortunate here because I happen to be close personal friends with Fresh. I've been friends. Well, I'm trying to think when I met him. I think it was, online. I met him last year, right around like August or September of last year. And then on January, I think it was like towards the end of January of this year, they flew me out and I went to go do my first show on the Fresh and Fit podcast. They were at a meager 20,000 subs at that time, I think. And then I went out, they asked me out again, and I went out again in March of this year. And they were at close to 50,000. Or no, they were just pushing 30,000. And then everything exploded for them. Yeah, you tell me why. I don't know. Yeah, I got flued out. You're right, Sinistry. You're right. I got flued out. I got flued out by, well, technically Myron, but I became really kind of fast friends with Fresh. We kind of connect on a like, I guess like a personal level. I don't know why. Here's the thing. Let me tell you something about this, Jimmy. Okay, Jimmy, tell you something about this. When all the stuff went down in August, and today's show, by the way, I have to start this. You know how I like to preface things, so I'm prefacing things here today. Today's show is really kind of technically not about Fresh per se, but the lessons that Fresh can teach us, and the lessons that, well, really Kevin Samuels can teach us too. So I have to be very careful. I'm gonna include a little bit of audio from Kevin Samuel's show. And again, this is not a flame or anything. The intro here is meant to be funny. Please laugh at it. But I was made aware of a sort of a section where Kevin sort of addressed me personally in his show, and not directly at me, but he was answering a call. And this isn't really anything about Kevin per se. It's actually more about the caller that called in, because I think that there's some sort of like lesson we can learn from this. And I was like, I was watching this show, and somebody sent me, said, "Oh, started at about 1:07 in." And I'm like, okay, let me have a look at it. And again, I don't know Kevin personally. I've seen the videos. I know all this other stuff. Whatever, got it. Your estimate of Kevin is whatever it is. I'm not here to. I report the news. I just work here. So, but I thought that there was a really valuable lesson to be taught in what he was saying. So, Kevin, if you're watching this, I don't mean to like step on your feet or anything as far as like copyright is concerned, because I know how you are about your brand and about your licensing, and it's kind of like Walt Disney of the internet of the manosphere. So again, this is just so I can actually, it's not about him, it's about the caller. So we'll get to that here in a little bit. But I thought, I started thinking, okay, cobbling together ideas for the show. I start working on an outline. As you know, I do my homework. I do my research. I go online and I troll Rob Henderson and Steve Stewart Williams and sometimes Rolf. However, I was doing my homework and I thought, you know what, this is kind of relatable to what's going on with Fresh. So was it about an hour ago? Maybe an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago. Fresh was on doing it was on his vlogs channel, which is, I posted in the chat. I'll put it up later if you guys want to look at it. He was doing a live stream talking about exactly everything that's been going on with his girl, Miranda, who I don't think is his girl anymore, but we'll find out, because you're going to be able to ask him right here on our show. And so he'll be joining us in a little while. I just wanted to sort of get things, kick things off here by myself, and then sort of bring him in as needed. Today's videos, we're going to feature, let's see, we've got, who do we have lined up today? We've got, who's this guy? Oh, it's Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate's going to be not featured. Well, I will be meeting Andrew, by the way, on, I think it's Thursday, the 2nd or the 3rd, while I'm in Miami. So we're going to be doing a sort of a tag team show. That's going to be a really, you won't want to miss that one, because it's going to be me, Andrew Tate. I believe Tristan is there too. And who else? Oh, Sterling Cooper will be with us. Probably Justin Waller. If you have seen the like mountaintop video I did with Sterling and Justin, those two guys. I know that Donovan Sharp will also be down in Miami at that time. I don't know if Torsha's going to be there. She hasn't told me yes or no. I was trying to get Kevin Savo down there as well, just for sort of a year-end kind of thing. But we'll see how things go. But I've got Andrew lined up today. I've also got Dr. Jordan Peterson lined up today. And no, it's not because I hate Jordan. You have a real thing against Jordan Peterson. No, I don't. No. It's just, if it's relatable, guys, listen to me. If it's relatable, if you can learn something from it, if it takes red meat to get you in the door, at least I can give you the steak with the sizzle. And that's always been my policy. So, caveat emptor. That's my whole thing. So I was listening to Kevin Samuels, and he was making I think this is one of the more, let's say, astute observations, I think. And I've got to play the audio. I don't want to play the video because I'm afraid I might get a copyright strike. And for those of you wondering about the what was it, the Lubbock, Texas shooting video that I was mentioning yesterday on yesterday's Rule Zero show. I am still planning to do that. I just had to be sure that I could play that video because that's a pretty violent video. And I was looking at it, and it is available on YouTube right now. And I had the impression of actually doing a dedicated show to that because I think there's a lot to be learned from that as well. However, yes, death by simp. However, I have to be careful of that because damn near everyone, well, actually all of these videos had a, adult content or like graphic content warning. So what's interesting to me is like YouTube's, they're cool with that. They're okay with, putting that warning in front of it. And I don't think you can monetize it with that. And it's not like that's a big deal, but if I'm going to make a show that I use that, I have to make it something that is, I think, a little bit better planned out than just a live stream. So I will do that show about the Lubbock, Texas shooting. I'm just going to do it as a pre-programmed thing. I think just to do it justice, I think I need to do that. So that's where I'm going to go with that. Now, like I said, Fresh will be along here in a little while, I believe. Let me see. He's texting me right now. What's going on? Okay, yeah. All right. So I told Fresh he can come in anytime after like the 30-minute mark. So if he's in it an hour, that's fine too. So because he's a very busy guy, right? And I happen to be close personal friends with the guy, right? Isn't that why I'm defending all these guys? Is that not why they promote my book? Is that not why? Right? We're going to find out here in just a little while. Okay. No, I'm not going to throw him under the bus. No, I'm not going to roast him. I'm going to let you guys, I'm going to let him speak his piece. I'm going to let you guys ask your questions because I think that as I said, he was doing a show just about 2 hours ago and he was answering a lot of questions live. And I think he's totally fine with that. So whatever. So I want to throw in a few things here. I think the best way I can lead off today's conversation here, children, classes in session, is I think that I mentioned this on yesterday's Rule Zero show, and I get a lot of crap from people because I'm either too married or I'm not married enough. Now, if you guys follow me on Twitter, you'll probably already realize this because back on July 20th, my wedding anniversary, I made one very simple tweet. And that simple tweet said this: today I've been married for 25 years. That's all I said. That's it. That's the tweet. I put that out there and oh my Lord, did it explode. People were either too happy or too crazy about it. And I see it all the time in my comments. And yes, I do look at my comments, although it's getting to the point right now where I can't really keep up with a lot of them. But I do look at them and I try to sift through them. And yes, I do have filters on both of my channels right now, but usually it's just for certain words and links. So if you're going to send me a link or something, or you want me to look at a video, it's probably going to go to held for review. And then I'll usually put it out. I'm pretty good about that, I think. So I put that tweet out back in July and man, people lost their minds. Because they're like, well, how can Rollo, this is the joke, I've told this joke before, how can Rollo be red pill? He's married. And usually that's from the black pill audience, the MGTOW audience, the 21 convention fuckwits. That's from, you name it. Just name the guy who has it in for me. That's usually, how can you take what he says seriously? Where's the receipts, mister? That's the logic. That's the rationale. Then I get it from the TradCon side, the Lauren Southern side, the Matt Walsh side, the Candace Owens side, whatever. I mean, I'm just throwing out big names here. There's a lot of other like minor league guys too. And the continuation of that joke is Rollo can't be married. He's red pill. He's against marriage. How can he be against marriage and still be? Is that not cognitive dissonance? No, it's not. And I'm going to explain to you why it's not. Because today, you guys are used to the sexual marketplace being based on one thing: brand management. Everything you do right now, since really the rise of social media, but certainly since, I don't know, like eHarmony came out like back in the early 2000s. Remember that schmaltzy guy? I think that was like an evangelical Christian group, right? We have the 47 question test for compatibility so you can meet your soulmate, right? I mean, literally that was their advertising. meet your soul. We got it right here behind the door here. Just fill out this questionnaire. We'll go bring her up front for you, and you can see what we have in stock. What? That was the whole thing. And that was a selling point for like very early like dating sites, I think. But one of the great things about the internet and one of the great things about our data age right now is we have access to information and data sets and research and just basically, being part of sort of the internet community right now. I don't think people really realize this, particularly since we're now almost 21 years into the 21st century. And we take stuff for granted and we don't realize why we're taking that for granted and why it seems a little odd to us when somebody goes and sources a chick off of, I don't know, Seeking Arrangements. And you know what? Fresh is not the first guy to do that. I can name names. I'm not going to. I have a list of guys who I happen to know aren't Seeking Arrangements. But why do we worry about that? Why are we concerned about a guy on Seeking Arrangements? Oh, isn't he paying for a box? Well, I don't know. What's the arrangement? Is it a sugaring site? I don't know. What's their arrangement? That is brand management, my friends. It's brand management on the part of the women, and it's brand management on part of the guy as well. Okay. Now, the reason why you have a problem with that is because it grates against an old order understanding. What is that? Well, I know because it's pretty much how I met my wife, right? Let's go back into, I don't have the time machine. Somebody give me a time machine sound drop, please. I met my wife at a club, right? Like where everybody says you're not supposed to meet your wife. You're supposed to meet her in Bible study, mister. What's the matter with you? You should meet her in college. Let me tell you something. The BPD girlfriend that I always refer to on this show when I talk about like BPD or MPD, I met her at college. I met her on a college campus. That's where that went. And yet the woman who was going to be my wife, I met at a club, and not at a club in the way that you are probably thinking right now. I met her at a gig that I was playing, and a friend of mine's band was playing at that time too. And I was done. And this was just right after. I'm going to tell you the story. Here's stories from Rollo. You guys like that last story I gave you about the single mommy, what is it? The secret agent, secret mommy, secret mommy. So here's the brief version. Ask me one of these times where if you see me live somewhere, I will tell you the full story. But just for sake of brevity right now, I met my wife at a club, and she was with her girlfriends. I think she was with like 4 or 5 other girls. And I was waiting in line to get a beer, I think. Or I was waiting in line to get a drink, and I was just after the show. And I noticed this group of girls, and I looked at my wife, and she was the hot, tall blonde of the group. Sorry, that's just my thing. And this was just right after I got out of the relationship with the BPD girl. I think I was already dating at that time. I was like kind of spinning plates, although I didn't realize it. I was just like, I'm not going to make any long-term commitments, but I still want to get after it, right? So I was spinning plates. I was dating non-exclusively. I kind of went back to my old kind of routine, I think, when I was in the Hollywood like club scenes in my earlier 20s at that time. And I'm like, you know what? I had finally decided that I was going to make myself my mental point of origin, although I didn't call it mental point of origin at that time. And but it seemed to be working out pretty well. It's kind of like, once you're not trying to get laid, that's when girls want to get with you. And I think there's actually something to that, but I think it's more it's not like woo-woo magical stuff or like some sort of Zen, let yourself be an alpha. It's not like that. I think that you manifest behaviors once you adopt that attitude that maybe you don't even realize you're doing, that women pick up on. And maybe they don't even realize they're picking up on it, right? Maybe it might be like some sort of subconscious kind of limbic level awareness or sensitivity to like, this guy's on his game. This guy's going somewhere. And so I met her, and one of her best friend at the time, I'm not going to name names, but her best friend saw me and I had long blonde hair almost down to my ass at that time. Saw me, and she starts coming up to me, and she starts like playing with my hair, and she's like, I want you to meet my friend. And I was like, oh, that girl over there, the hot one. I was thinking, that's what I was thinking, right? No, it was one of her fat friends. She drank sober, and she's half drunk as it is. And I'm like, I'm almost like, I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. Hi. and I'm still waiting in line to get a beer. I don't even think I didn't think I'd have even one drink at that time. And I'm like, well, yeah, hi, you're nice, shake your hand. And I kind of suddenly I become friends with this person who I have no idea what her name is or who she is. I just met her right there on the spot. And I said, how about that one over there? I mean, literally, that's what I said. How about that one over there? And so she introduces me to who would be Mrs. TOMASSI, and the rest is history. And that's more or less how I met my wife, right? At a gig, I guess it would be a club. It's not like a club like you would think, like in terms of like, say, bottle service, and it's not like Lex down here. It's not like some of these clubs where it's just like, DJ and house music and stuff like that. That's not what I'm talking about. A lot different for us guys. So that right there was how I met my wife. And that's, later on I sort of ran, I guess I ran game on her. I mean, it was more like nothing to lose game, if that's a thing. Like, I got nothing to lose by going and hitting you up. I was actually planning just to add her to rotation, and I did. We dated non-exclusively for probably a good 3 or 4 months. And then after that, she asked me to be exclusive. And I thought that was interesting, because I'm finally on my game enough where I'm not going, oh, please, can we be official? Will you be my girlfriend? Like serial monogamists do. And she was the one who hit me up and wanted to be exclusive with me. And at that time, she was the hottest and funnest in bed and that I was with. And I'm like, yeah, all right. and again, it seemed like a good idea at the time. And so, like I said, the rest is history. And we sort of developed a relationship, and we've been at, I guess I've known her for like 26 and a half years now, but been married for 25 years. And that's how we met. That is probably not how most people meet today. In fact, I can statistically prove that to you. I put it in, where is it? And I put it in the data of this book of The Rational Male Religion. There's a hefty chapter in religion about marriage. And in that chapter, I outline how people meet today. It's not through friends. It's not through Bible study. It's not through church camp. It's not through, it's not even really through clubs all that much. Like, I'm going to go down to the club and see if I can find a girl, right? I'm sure that probably still happens, but primarily people meet through online dating services, through Tinder, through Hinge, through Bumble, through Seeking Arrangements, through and you know what? I'm probably like, people are going to come back to this video and they go, I can't believe you mentioned all those old apps, because there's probably going to be something in the future that's going to be even more endemic than Tinder or whatever else is today, or Seeking Arrangements for that matter. Now, that's how it is done, but we still have that idea that that's the way it shouldn't be done. The old order way of thinking about people, like men and women coming together, is always about, well, boy meets girl. We were at the high school dance and I saw her across the basketball gymnasium court, and the angels sang and the lights shined down on her and I knew she was the one. Like, happy days, 1950s. Nobody dates anymore, man. It's not about dating. It's about brand management. And that's really what Seeking Arrangements is. And that's really what Tinder is. And that's really what Hinge is. That's really what Instagram is, ladies, if you're watching this. Men too. So what do? I was just on this show about 2 weeks ago, and I actually showed the video on here. I was talking about how, what was it? Sugaring. I was talking about sugaring and the sugar babies and all that. And I showed you guys that video of the, I think it was in Vegas, in the convention, where women were getting together. And a lot of these were like kind of washed out, like, post-wall women. But they were getting together and they were trying to figure out how to leverage sugaring to better effect. You guys saw that. In fact, that was probably the highlight of that show. People are like, I can't believe this actually exists. Oh my God. Well, okay. That's brand management, is it not? I'm managing my brand of me. My brand of me needs to find a husband. My brand of me would like to start a family. My brand of me would like to get with the best guy that I can possibly get with. That's what Dr. Jordan Peterson was all talking about, right? Guys, you're not good enough. The girls are right. I'm going to show you that one right here in just a minute. Let me get to this right quick. Best part of waking up is Rollo's monologues. Oh man, you want this? There you go.
You sly dog. You got me monologuing.
Yeah. I know. This guy talks a lot. I'm the only dude on the show. What do you want me to do? Let's see. Anybody else? No, I think that was it. Okay, good enough. All right, let's go back to this. You guys love this one, so I had to bring this back for a second shot. Now, I'm not going to belabor this point for very long, but I think it's imperative that we look at this right now, because it's going to build onto when we start talking to Fresh here in a little while. We're going to build on this one in just a moment. So let's look at this really quickly. I've played this clip before. Yes, sorry, but I don't think I gave it kind of gave it short shrift last time I was doing this. So let's
young adults being able to connect and form meaningful relationships.
This is the red pill manosphere narrative. Average women don't want average men. This is Kevin Samuels. Ma'am, what is your height? What is your size? You're average at best, right? And Hafiz is saying, hey, listen, this is the thing that's happening. Average women don't want average men. What is going on? And listen to Jordan Peterson's response.
Okay. Now, before we continue that, like I said, I gave this short shrift on the last time I threw this up there. And I'm using this right now not to hit on Jordan per se, but this is a guy who is still stuck in old order ways of thinking. This is 20th century speaking right now. As I said before, like, people want to throw rocks at me and they say, well, you're married. What do you have to say? You met a girl back in a time when way back in the romantic day. What was it, like the Middle Ages when you met your wife? No, I wasn't. But the idea that that's the way that ought to be conflicts with the brand management of the 21st century. And that's where this goes. This is not a red pill. Oh, this is the red pill narrative. No, this is the world narrative, Ruslan. This is the way this is exactly where we're at today. This is why we have seeking arrangements. This is why Jordan Peterson's daughter is all about her, right? We just talked about that last week. So let's keep going. It's not so much like the red pill calls this out for sure. Kevin Samuels calls it out, I'm sure. But let's be honest here. That's where we're at today. Whether I'm saying it, whether Kevin's saying it, whether Fresh and Fit is saying it, whether Rich Cooper is saying it, whether Ryan Stone, it doesn't matter where the voice is emanating from. They're still saying, hey, look over here, where we are voices in the wilderness pointing out the obvious.
Women are more picky in their mate choices than men, especially sexually. That's the case in every culture. It's not surprising, because women have more at stake sexually than men do, per episode, because men don't get pregnant, obviously. And so that female pickiness is that's the case. That's definitely true. Whether it's worse now or not, I doubt if it is.
All we've been hearing from is how it's so much worse. It's so much harder. 100 years ago, an average man can get an average woman. It's so much harder. And now, Jordan Peterson pushes back and says, I'm not sure if it is.
I doubt.
Okay.
I'm sure he is with Jesus, but he's
hang on. Let me push this up.
Right. And Hafiz is saying, hey, listen, this is the thing that's.
Sorry.
A lot of these average men, which also
Average men, what is going on? And listen to. Not sure if it is.
I doubt if it is.
Okay, there we go. Let me pick this apart right quick. Jordan speaking from old order thinking. Seriously. Jordan Peterson is not the kind of guy who's had the kind of sexual opportunity to make any kind of call like this, whether it's the 20th century or the 21st century. And if anything, he should understand things a little bit better in light of what his daughter is doing right now. One of the things that people threw out, and I have to put this out here right now, because I got this because people said, oh, you missed the boat. You missed the real message. And I'm like, what's that? And they're saying, they referred me back to this video, and they said, is Michaela Peterson doing the right thing? Right? Is she right? Is Andre, her soon-to-be ex-husband, the father of her child, is he wrong? Is he not good enough? Are they right about him? Is she right about him? Because apparently that's the case. And apparently we're reserving judgment for the daughter, which you can go and connect those dots all you'd like. Thank you, PP. But is that what's happening? Is she right about that? Well, we'll find out here. Now, he gets very indignant and very kind of like old man rage about this right here. But again, it's the disconnect between what we think ought to have been in the old order way of thinking and what is with new order empirical data, with seeing this happen live in real time all the time. So here's this. Let's keep going.
I would say to young men who are irritated at women is, if you're irritated at women, as a class of creature, there's something wrong with you, because
If you're irritated at women, there's something wrong with you. I didn't say it. Jordan Peterson said it. Go write him an angry message.
Anyone annoyed? Anybody upset? Anybody indignant? I don't know, about Michaela Peterson's sort of blasé reasoning for getting rid of Andre after all the stuff that he's done. Like, the guy did everything by the book, as far as we know, anyways. I don't know. Maybe somebody will contradict me later on. But apparently, if that's our logic, believe all women, I guess, or whatever, then apparently, Ruslan and Jordan, Michaela Peterson is in the right. She's doing exactly what she ought to do, right? Isn't that the whole thing? Well, they take a lot of risks, women, historically, and he hits it right from the evolutionary perspective. Women are the most vulnerable sex. They have a higher cost in reproduction, investment cost in reproduction. And yes, I mean, there are vestiges of evolutionary vestiges within women's psychology where they need to get the best of the best. Now, the problem with that is now we have a choice paradox for women. And that's really today's topic. The choice paradox that women have, courtesy of seeking arrangements, courtesy of sugaring, courtesy of Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, name the app, courtesy of whatever your, favorite online dating, to Match.com. I don't know what's hot for that. Does anybody even use those anymore? I think probably it's more app based now. But apparently they're right in doing that, and they're right in having those high standards. We did the on the last show. I did the if you want me to do it, I'll bring it up again. But we went through the female delusion calculator, and that's more or less what Kevin Samuels talks about, and Fresh talks about, and Myron talks about, and a lot of other channels too. I'm just using the ones I'm familiar with here. Hell, I do it too. Right? Rich Cooper does it on his Twitter channel all the time. Right? This is what women need to do. These are the standards you need to hold. Watch for red flags. Right? We're not supposed to have those standards. Well, why not? Well, because women are right about you. They have this innate magical feminine mystique that they can just parse out what a guy's real quality is. And if you try to trick them, then you're bad. And there's something wrong with you, because women are vulnerable and women have a higher reproductive investment cost. Again, comes back down to spoiled for choice. Even Michaela Peterson, spoiled for choice.
they're right. You're wrong. They're right to not pick you. If they're not picking you, it's because they're right.
Wow.
Now, that
Happy is like, wow. Jordan Peterson said women are right. I would have never thought. This exchange is incredible.
I know that's a terrible thing to say, and I know perfectly well. It wasn't like I was particularly successful with girls when I was young. So I know what that rejection is like. I know what that fear is like. I don't know it as well as some men know it, because I wasn't rejected outright. What you have to understand is that, what do you expect from women? If you got pregnant because you had sex, you'd be pretty damn choosy too.
Wow. Now, the reason I'm coming back to this is you have to put this in light of last week's show. That from what we know about his daughter. Again, this is not me hitting on him. This is not me hitting on her. It's the lack of understanding. It is old order thinking versus new order thinking, or new order data, I should say. This whole thing is not about Jordan. It is not about Michaela. It is about old order versus new order. It is about 20th century way of thinking. It is about Rollo Tomassi finding Mrs. Tomassi in 1995, right? That's what it comes down to. Versus, Rollo can't be red pill because he's married. Rollo can't be married because he's red pill. So I feel like the Jackie Chan meme. I'm like, well, what is it? What do I get? Where do I catch a break here? Where are you going to throw me a bone? It boggles the mind right now, because we can build a huge successful brand on this dichotomy Old order, 20th century thinking versus new order, 21st century thinking. Should we or should we not use seeking arrangements to find a chick? Well, how about this? What if the manosphere? What if the red pill? What if, and this is not me because I'm not a dating coach. I don't take guys out into the field. I'm not your wingman, but I am going to sit here and I'm going to tell you why these things work. I am going to tell you what the psychological reasons are for these things. I am going to tell you the mechanics behind this because I'm the guy that lifts up the hood of the car and I look to see how it's running and how it works. And then you guys can go drive the car, but I'm going to show you how it works. But I'm apparently I'm either too qualified or I'm not qualified enough. And again, dichotomy between old order and new order. And what happens in the new order? Brand management in a way that I never had to concern myself with when I was, 27 years old. I didn't have to worry about that. I didn't have to worry about, you have to be aware of personal image and stuff like that for sure, but not in the way that you do now, not in the Instagram age. And this is something that Peterson couldn't even wrap his head around even back then, even when he was sort of mooning over his one-itis, over his soulmate that he claims to have fallen in love with when he was 7 years old. Okay. So that's, and again, you could take that however. I'm reporting the news here, but that's the nuts and the bolts of this whole thing. So we can go and again, I might even maybe tell me, am I guilty of that? Maybe I don't know enough. Maybe because I got married in 1996 that I didn't get married in the internet age. I didn't get married in the Instagram age. But I do know this, being in the manosphere, doing and writing what I've been doing for, soon to be 20 freaking years here. I think I got a few things down. I think I can at least, if nothing else, I can certainly outline the dynamic that's going on right there. So when I see seeking arrangements, when I see Hinge or Bumble or whatever, or like Fluter out kind of stuff, I know what's going on because it's marketing, it's brand management. And who's doing the brand managing right now? Who's in demand? Who's the supply and who is the demand? Because right now, when a woman is between the years of 18 and 28, apparently she's the one it's a buyer's market, right? And they believe they can have the best of the best until they can't, until they hit 29 years old and they decide to fly to Romania to meet whoever, that's when all the bets are off at that point. So let me keep going.
Fellas, listen up.
So, clue in a bit. And then, well, don't they find you attractive? Well, maybe you're not. Like, have you paid attention to how you dress? Do you have a plan? Are you as educated as you could be?
All right. Hey, you got blown up there, right? How's that? Are you educated as you could be? Have you prepared yourself for marriage? Are you ready for the right girl to step into your life right when she needs you? Are you ready to be a good father? Are you ready to be a good husband? You got your game down? Have you managed your brand well enough so that girl who deserves the best can just step right into your life? Are you ready? I hope you are, because right now I've got my good friend, Fresh Prince.
Hey, what's up, bro?
Ooh, who's in that car with you?
Hi.
Yo.
Hey.
What's up? From the lamb truck, man.
I know. I saw. Is this the new one? Is this the red one, or is this the? Yeah. I wanted to, Fresh. I wanted to give you a chance. I know you just did a show, kind of like a Q&A on your own channel, and I know you don't have time. I know you're driving and everything, but I wanted to give you a chance to sort of like, I don't know, speak your piece, right? So I know what was going on with Miranda. I know it was the seeking arrangements thing. I've made the case here, like for the last half hour, that you guys have been making really kind of one way or another about seeking arrangements, about brand management, about how you're sourcing girls and things like that. So I wanted to give you a quick chance to sort of speak your piece and let everybody know what's going on and where you're at right now. And I'm going to see you next week.
Yeah. So, basically, man, like people were saying that, Precious sugar daddy's paying for bucks and all that stuff. And it's funny because me and my say all the time on the show that look guys, source from everywhere, source from like social media, in person, and also sugar sites. Because, for example, where the hottest girl's gonna be? Unfortunately, on sugar sites, and you may hit her up on Tinder, Bumble. Is she gonna respond? Probably not. But seeing you as a higher perceived value on those sites, she's gonna respond. So our thing is, hey, we put in our bio, PPM, no allowance, which means we're not paying for a meetup, we're not paying you no monthly fee, right? However, you can come enjoy our lifestyle, we'll get lit, have a great time. So that already vets a bunch of women out of the picture. Like, this is no type of like, hey, here's money for sex. No. And secondly, a lot of people on there are just trying for the first time and they're not that experience, whatever. Point blank, period, me saying this is because like sourcing is going to be from all factors. And listen, in the current marketplace that we're in right now, it's skewed. And we saw all the time on the show how as many tools in your belt as you can. That's just one of the tools. So we use all the time. Our more advanced students that are in our Patreon, we talk about it with them, but we don't put it out there all the time. But that's kind of like how it started. And then obviously I met her a while ago. I don't use the site anymore. I met her a while ago. We connected on Instagram. We didn't speak, and then I invited her to a yacht party with a bunch of girls, and we had a great convo. And from there, I took her out a couple times, and we started talking. And then we spoke about working on content together, like collabing on content. I know her past. I know what she's into. So obviously I'm not gonna wife her, but like, hey, you know what? Let's make some content. And she was cool. She watched my dog. She was working for me behind the scenes on certain stuff. I got businesses in the back as well. So it was like, she was like adding value to my life, even though, people say, oh, red flag. Like, if I'm not wifing her, it doesn't matter. So that's kind of like the long and short of it. And then people went looking at her past and her profile and I was like, yo, like, she's TikToks and all this stuff. I was like, bro, for me personally, she's treating me cool, good vibes. Like, I know what time it is. The other stuff, hey, man, that's her stuff in the past, whatever. So then, Fresh is dating Sugar Baby, he's getting finesse, he's paying her. I'm like, how am I getting finesse? Where did I lose money? I didn't lose anything. I pretty much just like took her a couple times, we did content, we got lit. That's what it was. And then academics was like saying like, oh bro, like she's a hoe, like you shouldn't talk to her. I'm like, bro, we always talk to hoes, but like it's not like, for example,
Just don't know it.
we never say you can't date hoes or whatever. Huh?
You just don't know it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. You're good. Keep going.
Huh? Yeah. So, long story short, is just like she had a crazy past. Obviously, you feel me? But if I'm not wifing her, it doesn't really matter. And secondly, we're making content. So that's how I saw it. And people are like, oh, Fresh, she doesn't love you for you. I'm like, bro, does it really even matter? Secondly, I've been through multiple scenarios where like I've seen like gold diggers and like people trying to finesse. Like, I would know when someone's being genuine when they're not. She was being genuine, bro. She was a cool girl. She saw what I was about, and she saw the show after. She was like, yo, like, I know you're not gonna give me anything. I just want to spend time with you. It's fun, have a great time. And that was genuine burning desire. Like, Rollo, you saw it all the time on the show, right? Obviously the dynamics look like it's like not genuine, but like she legit was sitting there with me. I'll play video games. She just sit there, like, watch me play. She legit was just like, whatever I want to do, she would do. Like, so to me, that along with like her buying me stuff, doing stuff for me, like, for example, her TikToks talk about like, finessing guys. She's literally doing the opposite with me. And it's like, okay, cool. Either way, I don't lose because one, I'm not like tricking on her, and two is like she's showing desire, and hey, she's adding value with content. Hey, I'm cool with it. So that's what it really was, man. And then people took it out of context. They were like, oh, he's paying for this and that. And then what happened was she was doing content with me. So we would go live on YouTube every now and then. So I would send her a portion of the Superchats for doing content. We're trolling. Oh, yeah, she's my sugar baby. Oh, she's pregnant, all that shit. We were just trolling, right? It's content. People are like, oh, see? Yeah, she's pregnant. Oh, yeah. I'm like, bro, it's clickbait. You see thumbnails, you see titles, it's clickbait.
Yeah.
And then one time she was like, she started watching my dog when I was doing shows and going out. So I was like, yo, I'll pay to watch my dog because obviously he likes you. I can trust you with my dog. And I paid her to watch my dog. But she's like, hey, she had mentioned before, I got my lights are about to go out in my house. I was like, why didn't you pay your light bill? Oh, da. I'm like, cool. Well, since I was gonna pay you anyway, use this for your light bill. So like they're like, oh, he paid for sex, bro. I already smashed the first night. Like if I was paying for box, like it would have been before that. Like so to me, just like they're making up lies because they want to paint me as like a bad person, whatever. But like, bro, like this is normal. And then secondly, like we've spoken about this on the podcast many times. That like you can go on those sites and meet people, have a great time. Now, is it like long term? Probably not. But it's just like how they spun the narrative is like, oh, Fresh is paying for box, he's a sugar daddy. I'm like, bro, we do this daily, bro. And it's like, I don't know, it's weird, man. And Rollo, you see me in person with multiple girls, you see how I act with them, what I'm about. Like, if I was paying for box, like you would know off rip. So,
yeah. I was gonna say is I know I thought what was funny is when all that stuff was going down with Abba and Preach and this stuff that's going on right now, I think a lot of people don't realize what goes on behind the scenes. They don't understand like just the mechanics and how the things happen. Again, this is not me defending Fresh here. Okay, let's just back the hell up off of this. I called you guys out when all that shit went down in August. You know I did. You know I called out Myron's tough love. Both me and John did that at the same time. So yes, I'm not saying you guys are blameless, but like let's look at the entire picture here. So I wanted to give you a chance to sort of like give your 2 cents here. The other thing I wanted to ask you is this: is you made a point, and I don't know if it was on DJ Academics podcast or whatever, but you said something about like how seeking arrangements is like there is a certain caliber of women that are on seeking arrangements, and you see them all the time on your show because the first thing that out of these women's mouths is I want a guy who's a high value guy. I need a guy who's got money. I'm all about the bag. I'm all about the paper. I'm all about whatever, and seeking arrangements is almost like they're looking for it's almost like a filtering if I'm correct, right? Now I don't know. I know guys who say they're not on seeking arrangements who are definitely on seeking arrangements.
But they are on seeking. Yes, that's the funny part. Like,
but why is that a thing? Like, why is that? Like, why do you think that there's sort of a stigma against seeking arrangements right now? Is it because it's like prostitution? Is it close to prostitution? Is it close to sugaring? Is it like too up in your face? What is the line? What's the differentiation between like sugaring and like seeking arrangements?
So I'll say this, right? A lot of girls nowadays, bro, they don't use dating apps anymore, and they're not going out public anymore for the part, or if they are not looking to be talked to. So they say, you know what? I'm tired of doing the dating apps because they just want to have sex on there, or just like trash guys, or I'm tired of like meeting guys that are like in the club. I want to find a guy that has, a better lifestyle. So where do they go? Seeking arrangements. And guys are wising up. They say, you know what? Damn, I'm not getting luck on dating apps. I'm not getting luck in person. You know what? Let me try this sugar site. And what happens is that like guys will go on there and they're young, good looking, not old. Girls like, whoa, here's a guy that's a high perceived value. He's not an old, weird guy. I'll go with him without paying. So it's like the site has changed dramatically from people like using it, I would say, incorrectly. But the premise is, okay, if you're on that site, you're probably old weird guy trying to like pay girls for the box. And to be quite honest with you, like there are some people on there that do that. But I'm just saying, like in general, how we play is that, yo, we're young, we're living a good lifestyle, we're having fun. If you want to chill with us and no, you're not getting paid, cool. So that's just how I see it.
See,
also, mind you, Rollo, that's just one source. We use Instagram, we use in person, when we're at a club. Is like that's not the only way you get girls. We're just saying like, yo, use all your options for a guy, because think about this: if you're using one sourcing tool, you might fail. But if you're using multiple, you have a high chance to talk to girls. And then guess what? If one source fails, follow another source. That's all we're saying here. So,
like, okay, so you're clearly you're not going to wife this girl up. Okay, I know.
No,
I know. I think that's
Rollo, you know me.
That's where a lot of people go with this. Like even Abba and Preach went there with this, right? They're like, well, does the girl respect you? Like, if I'm doing is like, sourcing girls and I'm spinning plates, what difference does it make? Really, literally, what difference does it make? Are you looking for long term? Are you looking for a girl who's going to be your wife? Are you looking for something that's sort of the old order, Jordan Peterson? Build yourself up so you can find a high quality girl when the time is right. Is that your priority, or are you your priority? Are you planning? Like, what blows me away is everyone wants to give you grief about all of this, yet in the next breath they'll be like, never marry a girl. don't get finessed. Like, what is it? Men guarding their wallets or something like that. Is that what we're talking about? Like when it comes to MGTOW and stuff like that now? So what's the goal? What's your point? What's the perspective in here? Is the right way to have met Miranda? Like, no, she just happened to be on a yacht. And I happen to be fresh from the Fresh Fit podcast. What if she knew you from the podcast and there was no seeking arrangements? She still knows you got a lot of money. She still knows you stack. She still knows who you are. Would that be more proper? Would that be the right way to have met her? Or is it just because you met her on seeking arrangements and that makes her sort of like trying to finesse you and you're suddenly simping on her?
Yeah, I think it's funny because guys think that like I'm stupid or like I'm gonna fall for a trap. It's kind of like, yo, like we've been through the trenches. We know our friend. Okay, cool. We know what it is. So for me, it's like, okay, I'm living my life. I know how I'm doing things, and I have an RP mindset. Like I'm not gonna fall for like those tricks or whatever. But that being said, they're stuck on the where I met her, and for example, I said I met her on a yacht. That's true. First time I met her was on a yacht. I invited a bunch of girls. Hey, I remember I got you from Instagram, got you from wherever. Come to the yacht. That's all I did. So yo, I had like 8 girls come to the yacht. They all came. I forgot that she was even from Stigma, honestly. And then from there, it's like, okay, cool. I'm on the yacht. We're talking. With a good convo. Hey, you got a pretty cool mindset. I know what you're about. Cool. Let's make content. We start going out, making content. Cool. That's all it really was, man. But they were like, oh, first in love. Da, da, da. I'm like, bro, I am literally making content. Like, it's not that serious. Like, I don't know what to say, bro.
Yeah, I hear you. As far as circumstantial, like if you met her there, like how many girls on that yacht do you think were on seeking arrangements besides Miranda?
Dude,
how many other girls come on your show right now? Should we go, oh, I'm sorry, do you have an OnlyFans? Do you have are you on seeking arrangements? Sorry, you can't be on this show because that would make you illegitimate. Because you might hook up with somebody later on and we wouldn't want there to be any kind of impropriety or something like that. Is that the way we should do it? Is that how we should run it? Because I think a lot of the girls that are on your show right now, I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, we call them ratchet hoes, right? The girls that are on your show, 90% of them have, they certainly have like professional shots on Instagram because I go and I check those girls out and I go, what's this girl about, right? Professional shots, professional OnlyFans. We all know who Kiki Cloud is, so where everything's above board. How many of the girls on the yacht had something similar?
A lot, and I had mentioned that she wasn't like some of my girls because her thing was okay, cool, right? I know what I am, but I'm not putting it out there. So my thing is like, okay, cool, it's content for me. I was getting the better deal because once again, I didn't trick her, none of that shit. She was doing stuff for me behind the scenes for my business, for my dog. Making content, so like it was fun, man. You know, I was getting best of both worlds, and like I didn't have to like deal with it. Now regarding question you're asking, most girls have that shit, bro. Like let's be honest here. If they don't have Seeking, they got OnlyFans. If they got Seeking, they might am So my thing is, am I gonna say, oh, just because she has this stuff, I'm not gonna talk to her? No, nigga, I'm a bust nuts. I'm gonna have fun. We gonna get lit. But am I gonna wife her? No, it's just fun, man. Like so on the podcast, we say all the time, look. We love hoes, bro. We fucking love hoes, right? that being said, we know the game. So, no?
I'm gonna have Tom clip that part. Go ahead.
We love hoes, right? she's like, I guess.
Another one in a car.
I didn't call you one. But yeah, you know, if we like, it's what it is. But look, Rollo, I'm living life, bro. I'm having fun. I'm getting lit. People are hating, man. You know, it is what it is. I just personally think it's funny because I kind of like saw it coming. I said, you know what? Let me just troll and make it even funnier. And then it took it so far as like, yo, he's a fraud. He said this and that. I'm like, bro, we on the podcast say all the time, this is what we do. But you know what's funny? People don't watch all our podcasts. They just watch like one segment and say, oh, he said this. If you go back or watch even some of our old shows, people know like they're like, yo, bro, like Fresh said this many times, like, yo. If I wanted to be one chick, I can be. Secondly, if I wanted to date a chick that did Seeking, we talk about all the time. So it's like, you guys watch one part of the show, or not all of it, and then you take that out of context and say, oh, but see, for them, they want to make money to get fed because they need content. We make original content, they make content off of us. So for them, it's a payday. So I get it, you know.
Right. I hear you. Now, my last question is this: I hear everybody say, "Oh, we're Fresh is a beta." He's there's something and now
that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. So I want everybody, like, now that I have you, I'll let you go in just a second. I know you're driving, but one of the things that I did when the Abba and Preach thing was going on was I jumped into it. I was there when it happened. Remember on that Saturday, I texted you and I said, hey, let's do a show. Let's do a thing. You're like, nah, I just laugh at this. You kind of blew it off and things kind of escalated from there. I got into it. Now, when this was going down, because people kept asking me, and I'm going to address this right now. People kept asking me, when are you going to address the scandal with Fresh and Miranda? And I was just like, I'm going to let this play out. I'm going to see what's going on. And I know you. We text each other all the time on a weekly basis. I'm very good friends with Fresh. I will be out there next week. But I was like, I'm going to let this play out because I think I know what's going on. And I was right. And you know what? They took the bait. When you decided to go, oh, okay, I'm going all in. I'm going to lean into this. We're going to make some content with this, and we're going to see what happens. And sure as shit, man,
Rollo,
which white pill and all these guys.
This is my best. Rollo, this is the highest revenue I've made on my vlog channel since I started, bro. And it's funny, it tripled, and now I made a new channel, and it's so funny because like people think, oh, Fresh is dumb, he's ruining the brand. You do know that like I'm a marketing connoisseur, right? Like I love marketing.
Oh,
so for me, it's like, okay, I know angles to push where they're gonna talk about me, where they're gonna like. My thing is this, right? Like the RP is too serious. It is too freaking serious. There's ideology here that should be spread, but it's not like oh, absolute. It's more like, hey, you know the rules, apply it to your life to make it work for you. That's it. That's how I see it, at least.
Yeah.
So,
well,
you're booking. Good.
I'll tell you this is like the people who want to see you fail are the first ones to chime in. They're the first ones to pipe up, right? Oh, look here, his Achilles heel. There's blood in the water and the sharks are circling, you know? And I was watching this happen and I go, watch what happens here. I know what he's going to do. And you did. And everybody bit. And
literally.
Yeah. And I think actually, I think it's sort of an indictment of really where like the haters are right now, because it's the usual suspects chime in. It's the same thing. Now, anybody who doubts me, go and look at what the sub count is on Fresh Fit podcast right now. What was it in August, and what is it now? Just go make those two comparisons. That's all you have to do, because that's where, like, you know, the internet may never forget, but people have very short attention spans.
Yep, very.
All right, man. So, I will let you go. Is there anything else you want to say to anybody else out there? You got a good platform. I got a good 2,100 people here today.
Oh, by the way, we're gonna make content too. So a whole new angle of like.
Here you go. Here's your next serving up the next hot.
There you go.
I'll see you on Tuesday.
Not Miranda though.
Got it. All right, man.
So
I will see you on Tuesday. All right. We'll do something.
Peace, brother.
Peace.
All right.
Wow. There you go. How'd you guys like that? See, I deliver when I have to. All right. Actually, that's too good. I got to put that on there. Where is it? This is Fresh is a master troll. Yeah, he is. Or he understands what's going to happen in the wake of something like that. He understands optics. I will say this is that you could say, well, he was marketing, he was playing you guys all along, or maybe he stepped in it and he leaned into it and people took the bait. Now, was what happened in August bait? I don't know. I'll let you go. Again, I report the news. I just work here, man. You guys have to go and make your own connections. I'm the Walter Cronkite of the manosphere. I am today, anyways. What you got on here? Come on, trolls, throw it at me. Give it to me. Stop sleeping on Fresh, fam. He got a plan. Watch the math, and y'all feel this simpish. Very good. There you go. Now, so let me follow up on that thought real quick before we get back to today's topic, because again, like I said, what's valid? What's validating today, right? And you guys saw, like, Tortia's in the Tortia. Are you? Yeah, she's still in the chat right now. How is Rollo banging Tortia? No, but the optics are pretty good, aren't they? Yeah, right. She came out. I didn't fly. I didn't flew her out. I didn't flute her out. She was there in August when all that nonsense was going down. I was not in a good way when I was there, by the way. I was kind of like not feeling. I was like not just. physically, I kind of felt like I totaled out or whatever. I was sick, but I didn't have the beer bug or anything. But all that stuff that was going on at that time. And so like, go check out Torsha's channel, by the way. There's an interview of me on there. I might have her. I may bring her on, maybe. But if I did that, okay, the reason I'm saying this, if I did that, would you guys say the same thing about me? Would that be the next hot thing? Would Coach Fuckface say, "Oh, look, here's Rollo, he's a fraud"? Well, she's kind of hot though. Oh no, she's a skank. He met her on OnlyFans. He met her on Seeking Arrangements. He met her on shuckmysugarshack.com, whatever. Is that one? Sugar Shack? That's probably a porn site. Oh my God, I can't believe it. I think it's kind of funny because yesterday on Rule Zero, I had Sterling Cooper was on. Porn star Sterling Cooper. Let's just be clear here. I hosted him and Justin Waller and Tom, who is our helper. Tom is our tech guy. Very smart dude. Very good. That guy is going places. But I hosted them up at Lake Tahoe, and we went around. I showed them around. We did a lot of fun things, I think. It was sort of like a vacation. And as you guys have probably already seen the videos when we were on the mountaintop videos and everything. But so yesterday on Rule Zero, I think we were talking about, what's the end goal? What's your end goal? Is it to get married? Is it to, live like a hermit or, reach 40 and then decide you're going to be Orthodox Christian? What is it? What's the plan? And we got on the topic of marriage, and we got on the topic of long-term relationships. And we kind of touched on this topic today. And Sterling said, hey, I've seen Rollo's wife. I was up there, we went to dinner several times, and he said, I've never met a more gracious, wonderful woman. She really admires Rollo. She looks up to Rollo. Now, again, this is completely unsolicited. Here's your money, Sterling. Simply because that's the relationship that I have with my wife. Now, and I've mentioned this before, by all metrics, I would say I've had a very good relationship and a very good marriage with my wife. I'm still married at 25, despite all the rumors of, inserted into the narrative of the manosphere by certain asshats. No, we're quite in love, and we just got after it last night, and probably will before I go off to Miami, because that's just how things go. My daughter is 23 years old. She's still very much loves me to death, and we have a really great relationship. In spite of what other dickheads might want to, would lead you to believe. Let's just say. So after that, I started thinking about that, and I go, yeah, what? I've heard Rich Cooper say stuff like that as well. Like Rich met my wife, I think back in 2018 or 2018, and said something pretty similar to that. And I would say it's 90% of that is because of me being red pill aware. Now, the other thing is people say, well, don't you think that if she would leave you, don't you think she would leave you if you lost all that money? Don't you think she would leave you if you became a drunk alcoholic bum in the streets? Yeah, you're fucking right. Yeah, you're goddamn right. You're goddamn right. She would. She would have every right to do so, right? I mean, isn't that it? Is that not what Jordan Peterson just said? They're right about you. These men aren't living up to their expectations. They're not living up to their burden of performance. Oh my God. It's not unconditional love. Oh, till death do us part. No, it's not. Women approach love from an opportunistic perspective. Get that through your fat heads. Understand that. That's what this whole thing is about. Seeking arrangements, fresh simping, fresh not simping. The only reason why, okay, well, let's just say there's two reasons really, but the main reason why you people hate on fresh, particularly because like I said, they think they smelled blood in the water because of all this. Well, I don't think it was manufactured outrage, but it became something of an opportunity later on that he capitalized on, because you guys, the haters and the trolls are just, you're easy pickings, man. You make it too friggin' easy. Even when he trips, you guys, oh, he tripped. You know what? He makes money off of him tripping because you pointed out that he tripped. It was the same thing back in August. Yeah, man, they screwed up. They did. Both of them did. Oh, you're defending them. No, I didn't. Both me and John said, hey, man, what are you doing flying some girl out from, what was it, Los Angeles? What are you doing? Like, we said that. We did it. We did at least two different live streams together where we were very critical of them. That's what friends do. What is it? Iron sharpens iron. Where's that? Where's that? Where's that masculine manliness? Where's that pinnacle of a man, that apex of a man? Where is that now? You want to think the worst of what these guys are about. That's Royce. That's what is it? The unbearable triteness of hating. That's one of the hates that Royce brought up way back in 2009. It's the most common forms of hate. And I believe one of them is sort of like misapplied hate or something like that, or whatever. And it's basically, you're looking at the faults, you're looking at the downfall of whoever it is that you hate rather than looking at the reason, right? So keep that in mind, because we live, like I keep telling you, we live in the data age, and that's where we're at right now. And that's why I kept my mouth shut, because I knew guys would bite on that. So when I'm talking about my marriage, like people always wonder, well, how come Rollo doesn't talk about his marriage? Oh, there must be problems. No, because I don't want you guys to think that my success implies your future success. My past results do not. What is it like when you invest in stocks or something like that, right? It's past successes don't necessarily, or past performance doesn't imply future success. That's what I'm getting at. You want to know why I don't? That's why. I don't use myself as an example. I try not to, until people back me into a fucking corner and they're like, oh yeah, well, what about you and your wife? Okay, well, if that's what we're talking about, because I know what will happen. I've seen it happen over and over again. Oh, well, Rollo, give me the 12 rules for a successful marriage. Help me, Rollo. Help me, oh, Rollo. You're my only hope. Get me the girl of my dreams. No, in fact, I've written an essay exactly about that. Dream girls and children with dynamite. Go read it. It's on the Rational Male. It's actually in the first book as well. It's like giving children dynamite. I can teach you how to do these things. I can teach you game. I can teach you why it works. I can show you that in no uncertain terms, I can certainly lay out the general natures of men and women. If I do so, what are you going to use that for? It's like Prometheus giving you fire. You're going to burn your house down, or are you going to use it for the betterment of your life? Fresh isn't wifing these girls up. He might meet them on OnlyFans. He might meet them on it's not like he's going on there and going, oh, here's a tip. Here's a tip. I'm a pay pig. Here's a tip. Make it rain online. That's not what he's doing. What if I told you this? What if the girl that you like this, you met the perfect, most beautiful, perfect ass girl, right? Now I know Torsia doesn't have an OnlyFans, and I know fairly certain she's not on Seeking Arrangement. So I don't know. Maybe she is. Go look, right? But let's just say, for sake of argument, you meet this beautiful girl, whatever. She's got her Instagram down. She's got her TikTok down. She's a YouTuber, whatever. But she's not on Seeking Arrangements. She's not on Sugar Shack or whatever the fuck it is. She's not on Tinder per se, right? Maybe she is. I don't know. But you met her in a club. Is that more like wholesome for you to have met her right there? What's the right fucking way? Tell me what the right way is. What's the right way to meet a chick today? In Bible study? I don't know. At the country club? At school? What's the right way? Tell me what the right way is. And I will guarantee you that even if you meet the girl in Bible study, she most likely, I'm not saying she has she doesn't have a OnlyFans, but she probably has an Instagram. Is there a right way and a wrong way? I think people have this idea that anything except like meeting the girl in the public library, library game, Nick's new from Rollo, meet her in a library, and that's the right way to do it. Jordan Peterson, he met his wife at 7 years old. He even told his dad, I'm going to marry that girl. Is that the right way? Is Jordan Peterson the model that we should be following? It's Rollo TOMASSI. I didn't meet her at 7, but I didn't meet, she sure as shit didn't have OnlyFans. I can tell you for a fact, my wife is not even on social media right now. Please, trolls, go look for my wife on social media. You will not find Mrs. TOMASSI anywhere. You will not find her out. Even on my personal Facebook, which is where you guys have all trolled her, and which is where you guys have, tried to dox me and my daughter. Yeah, you could probably go find pictures of my wife somewhere, but you won't find it on her Instagram. You won't find it on OnlyFans. You won't find it on Seeking Arrangements. You won't find it on even on Facebook. I know, because it's not there. And not because I said, bitch, you're not having any social media. I'm putting my foot down. That she just has no fucking interest. She has no desire to be on that. God, she hears the horror stories I throw out there. I wouldn't either. Oh my God. Hey Rollo, I'm 30. I just got out of an LTR. I've never used a dating app or IG to meet girls. Am I screwed then? No. But know this, that's pretty much how the game goes right now. It's brand management. If you meet a girl right now, even if you met her in the most wholesome way possible, oh, I'm going to go to Bible study. Oh, 90% of the girls at Bible study have an Instagram. Are they all, getting flued out? Are they all on yachts? I don't know. Maybe not, but they're trying to look their best. They realize that's a resume for future, sexual interests, for reproductive, benefits, for marriage, for relationships. We know that, you know that. And I'm going to tell you this. Here's another thing is getting back to the point with, what's the right way to do it? What is it, meeting a girl online, or is it meeting her through your family and friends? Is it meeting her on the ranch somewhere? She's a farmer's daughter. Let me go ask for her hand in marriage. Is that the right way to do it? Even the farmer's daughter is probably on Instagram. Is that how you do it? But my other point is this, is like, if that's old order way of thinking, what's the new order? What's the best way to go about it? Like, how can I leverage red pill information? How can I leverage what I know about game, what I know about men's nature, the red pill praxeology, whatever, anything that I have written about, anything that I put out there, anything that you like, if you call yourself, I'm a red pill guy, all of that material, what are you using it for? What's the right way and what's the wrong way? Are you going to use it to benefit your life? I think I have. I attribute the success of my marriage to being red pill aware and understanding my nature and my wife's nature as well. Well, is that inauthentic? Should it just happen naturally? Well, maybe it should. But like I said, I have internalized the red pill to the point where it's just sort of my second nature right now. And I said that, and I'll continue to say that, is yes, if I suddenly become some homeless bum sucking down, Colt 45, smoking a blunt every day and just sleeping all day and being a piece of shit, my wife would have every right to leave me. Sure. I would expect that. If my wife became a raging slut and I just decided that she was going to become a completely different person, I would have every right to leave her as well. So what's the arrangement? What's the back and forth? We're not talking about transactional sex versus validational sex. We're talking about what is the arrangement for your relationship. Is Fresh using the red pill? Is Fresh using his awareness to finesse? Is the finesser being finessed herself? Maybe I think like people think that they want to jump to the conclusion that like Fresh or Myron or me or whoever, that if you have a girlfriend, you're beta, you're blue pill, doesn't matter. Oh, you're just because you are married, just because you have a girlfriend, just because you maybe have a live-in, whatever it is. Oh my God, you're beta. I can't believe it. No one would ever live with a girl. Well, how about this? Can you still be red pill and be in a relationship, married or otherwise? Can you still be red pill and spin plates? And maybe you have a main and maybe you've got sides, right? Mike Rashid is in a relationship with 2 chicks. Is he alpha? Well, you'll say yes, because he's got 2 hot chicks. I want to do him at a moment's notice. But he's in a relationship. Technically, I mean, he says so. I'm in a relationship with these 2 girls. Is he doubly beta because of that? Probably not, but how do you use it? How are you going to leverage it? How are you going to better your life as a result of being red pill aware? Are you screwed because you've never used Instagram? No, but I will say this. This was a thought I meant to finish earlier on before Fresh came on. Remember when I told you about how sugaring is almost like it's down to a science right now. I mean, you've got grifters and hustlers on that side of the fence, like on the sugaring side of the fence, teaching women how to be better hustlers, teaching women how to better finesse, teaching girls to, young or old, to be better at sugaring. It's a coursework. That's what it is. It's you got a teacher and you go there and you take notes and you got to do these things and you got to be on Instagram. You got to be on Seeking Arrangements. You got to be on this, right? Okay, here, how can we better do this? Right? Well, would I be an asshat to say, hey, guys, come on, let me run a workshop. Me and Sterling, we're going to run a workshop and we're going to teach you how to finesse the finessers. Because that's really what the PUA came down to back in the day, although we don't call it that anymore. So game's about finesse the finessers. It's what is it? I forget who told me this. It was I don't know where this quote came from, but it's PUAs pretend to have what women pretend that they don't want. Maybe I'll just take responsibility for that one. PUAs pretend to have what women pretend that they don't want. But what do you want? Where do you want to go with this? What do you want to do with this? What's the right way and what's the wrong way? What about the guy? Okay. Answer, riddle me this, Batman. I've been made aware of at least 2 different incidences of this just recently, and I've heard about this in the past as well. Is like you get a former porn star. Again, Sterling told me this too. It was just recently in San Diego, I believe, and there's an active working porn star who is now the wife of a evangelical pastor or something down in San Diego, I believe it is, San Diego, California. And he's not the first one. Like, I know that I've known of other like youth pastors who've wifed up like ex-porn stars. Now, maybe they're not like, preaching. I had that one guy, Mitchell, I can't remember his first name, but his wife, who was, she wasn't a porn star when she started, but she was a pastor's wife, and she became sort of like this Presbyterian. I can't remember. I know. I forget what religion she was, but anyways, she was teaching, right? She was a pastoress, whatever that is. And she ended up starting an OnlyFans, and she left her kids, and then she got into real hardcore porn after that. But we're going to be forgiving. We're all good. We're all good with that. Well, is that the right way? Is that okay? Well, she's done with that. She used to be a porn star, but now she's done. Now she's found the Lord. Is that okay? Is that better? Is that a better situation than you meeting a girl on a yacht and then discovering that she's on, Seeking Arrangements? Or maybe you found her on Seeking Arrangements and she says, you know what? I'm done with that. I'm really in love with you. I can't believe I even was on that site. I really want to get with you. Is that the right way? I'm not saying that that's what happened here. I was like, what is circumstance that will make things better or worse in that case? And people say, well, Fresh is telling guys to do this and to do that, and he thinks he's alpha. That's not very alpha. That's beta. He's simping. It would be simping if this were the case. If it turned out that Fresh was like a pay pig for some hot girl on OnlyFans and was like, I really love you. Come on my show. I'll come to my yacht. If that was the case, then yeah, I would have a problem with that. Definitely. And I will say this as well, is that, and I have said in the past, is that paying for, what is it? Poom poom. If you're calling it poom poom, you have a bigger problem than OnlyFans are paying for it, by the way. Just putting that out there. But if you're paying for it, like overtly say, here's $400 out call. How much is it in Vegas? I think an out call is like something like $400 or $500, like escorts, whatever. Is that different? Is that a different situation than going to OnlyFans? Is that a different situation? I'm paying for it. I mean, on OnlyFans. Is that a different situation than Seeking Arrangements? And as I said, I know a lot of guys who are. And that's just simply the way. Maybe that's just the way we do it now. Maybe that's just the shortest distance between point A and point B. Maybe it's maybe Instagram is. What's the right way? What is the alpha way? What would be respectable to get with a girl that you met in a club? She's all over you and she can't keep her hands off of you. And you have validational sex with her and you bang her and everything. And the next morning you find out that, from your best friend, hey man, I found her account on OnlyFans. Or, hey man, I found her account on Seeking Arrangements. Oh my God. But I didn't find her on Seeking Arrangements. I found her in the club. She's trying to finesse you. Well, if that's the case, if that's the definition, then aren't all women trying to finesse you? Is not every woman, certainly in Miami, but is not every woman on planet Earth with an opportunistic perspective on what love is, or did my wife not finesse me? Is she not finessing me right now after 25 years? I just said, hey, if I turn into a fat piece of shit and I homeless and drunk, then she'd have every reason to leave me. Oh my God, Rollo's simping for his wife. Quite the opposite, my friend. If I'm not on my game, if I'm not a hot, quote unquote, high value man, what does that make me? Does that make me a simp? Does it make me blue pill? Or does that mean that I know how the game works? Does that mean I know how intersexual dynamics work? Does that not keep me frosty, right? Does that not keep me motivated and going and or maybe it's just a byproduct of me being ambitious and motivated already. That's why I've talked about this with who was it? Let's see, it was with Rich Cooper, but I've talked about this with guys who are kind of like the success guys. And a lot of people want to say, well, chase excellence and chase success and the girls will show up. And yeah, they should be a byproduct of that. I mean, still, date around and still spin plates, not, chase excellence, whatever that means to you, to the exception of all else, put on blinders, right? And don't think about anything else. Just do whatever your mission is. Women will just show up and you'll live a great life. Oh, there's plenty of rich guys who get finessed. PJ Washington, Brittany Renner. There you go right there. A really good contemporary example of it right there. The great thing I love this is this, was Brittany Renner on Seeking Arrangements? No, but she may as well have been, because she put a whole damn book out about how to finesse guys, more or less. I mean, she didn't title it that. And she's very open about date a dumb jock, date an athlete because they're stupid, take them for what they're worth, have a kid, lock them down, divorce them if you have to, whatever, but do that. Stay hot to the point where you can get a high value guy, consolidate on that, and you're done. Is that how we do it now? Is that the right way? Maybe she's not on Seeking Arrangements. Is Brittany? I don't think she's on OnlyFans, but you know what you're getting into with Brittany Renner. You damn well know what you're getting into. But is that the right way? Maybe she did it the right way. All right. Tell me, man. Let's keep going. Man, I got a lot of supers I got to catch up on. Hang on one second here, guys. Let me move back in time here. Jace, thanks, Fresh. See you in December. Thank you, Fresh, for that super chat. And by the way, if you, I'm going to put this in. I'll put his link to his vlog channel here in just a moment. Let's see. What'd you say? I am in South Florida. I'd love to meet y'all. I would love to meet you too, my friend. I will be in Miami starting, I'll be there on Tuesday, but Wednesday is probably the best time to look for me. I will be at the, what is it? The Panorama Towers? Is that what you call it? Panorama Towers. I got to get me a new drip, by the way. What should I dress? How should I dress while I'm there? I gotta at least get a style consultation before I go head to head with the Tates, right? You guys you want that red meat? I got to look the part, right? As long as you pass her like a hot potato. There you go. Well, I think it's entertaining to me is and we've said this before is, I remember I was telling you last week about the single mommies and stuff, and people go, oh, we want to hear more stories about beta Rollo or blue pill Rollo. I was blue pill then, dude. You guys don't even realize how much ass I was getting back then. Those were my rock star 20s that I keep mentioning that people get really upset with whenever I say that. What's this? Oh, okay. Here we go. I think I put this on. Stop sleeping on Fresh. He got it playing. All right. Let's catch up here. Let's keep going. Oh man, I love how I can go back through time on these now. I gotta put that one up there. You don't have the same birthmarks, Fresh, as 6'9". Let's keep going. Let's see. I got to you already. And keep going. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a one-man show. And yeah, I will get back to the videos here in just a minute. I do want to get to the Kevin Samuels thing because I think that would be a nice way to sort of tie up today's show with a nice little bow. Nostalgic sounds. Damn, now I have to unsub from you two for being afraid to call him out and conditioning this simp behavior. No one is above reproof. Now, I think you mean reproof. Of reproach is the actual word that you're looking for there. Okay. Once again, what would you like me to say? What would you like me to say? Did I not say it? Did I not just explain things to you? Oh, it sounds like a cope. Well, what wouldn't sound like a cope? Fuck you, Fresh. You should never have gone out with a girl. What the fuck's wrong with you? Is that what you want me to say? Would that be okay? Would that make you feel better for your $10? Because that's really, I mean, what else is there? I mean, I'm trying to explain this in no uncertain terms right now. Oh, well, he's just rambling on and on and on. He just doesn't know that this is wrong. Wrong about what? Like I said, old order versus new order. He just, I don't even think he just said he didn't source her from what was it? Seeking Arrangements. She was on Seeking Arrangements. People found out about it. Douche nozzle from White Pill, whatever, would decide, oh, look here. I can't believe it. It's shocking. Yeah. Thanks for the engagement. Beautiful. Wonderful. Do you honestly think yeah, here we go. Let me put this up there. Cause I gotta back up for sure. Do you honestly think, tell me this. Do you honestly think, especially after August, do you honestly think that he didn't realize what the optics are on this? Do you think that? Do you think he's that stupid? Do you think he's that much of a blue pill simp that, I don't know what's going on? Oh, why don't they love me anymore? Do you think that's where his head was at? Because it's not. You just said he just tooled 90% of you anyways, because he knew what the optics were and he knew what was going on. Did he walk into it? Man, maybe he did, but he knows what's going on. So don't give me this bullshit about, oh, well, you must, what is it? If the glove won't fit, then you must acquit. That's not what this is about. The learning moment here, the lesson that's being taught here is the difference between the Jordan Peterson style way of what's right and what's appropriate and make yourself the best man you can be. So a quality woman will just drop into your lap at some time. Those quality women, those women are looking for guys on Seeking Arrangements because they say, you know what? I'm a hot piece of ass and I don't want to get with broke ass guys. I want to find a guy who's hot. I want to find a guy who's paid. I don't know how better to make this clear to you because on every damn episode, it's the same story. It does, and not just on their channel. I can find you dozens of other channels where they do the same thing. Go look on TikTok. Why did I start Chick Talk? Right? The Chick Talk section of my video, I guess. Guys make whole channels dedicated to that. I just throw it out once in a while. It's because you want it. It's red meat. But don't you think that the girls at your quality girl at some point was probably on, selling her ass on Instagram, selling her ass on OnlyFans? I say this all the time, like women's digital footprint is unavoidable. And as such, if you get with a girl who has a digital footprint, unless she's some Amish virgin from the, Dutch country of Pennsylvania, odds are she's probably got an OnlyFans account. Odds are she probably has been with a guy before you. If only a virgin bride will do for you, if that's the only measurement for perfection, that's the only way you're going to ever have a successful marriage, then you're looking at the wrong channel and you're living in the wrong fucking world. That's the nuts and bolts of it right there. Let's see. You want a Don DeMarco? I'll give you Don DeMarco. Don DeMarco. We even share sound drops. I need to share some with Chris before I go. As long as you pass her like a hot potato. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. We tell, this was from last week's show. We tell guys all the time about, like, I told you the story about the single mommy who tricked me. He tricked Rollo. Oh my God. He didn't trick me. Like, I thought it was a pretty funny story. Let's be honest. That was a pretty good one. I'm trying to work on my storytelling, but you got a divorcee, single mother. She was fun. She was fun to fuck. Don't get me wrong whatsoever. As my detractors will trot out all the time, I've had about 4 booty calls. There's one I would call her a booty call. There's a 5th one, but she kind of became something else. So I can't really count her, but at least 4. And I've been with at least, let's see, one single mother for sure. One I think might have been a single mother, but I never stuck around to find out. But that's the operative here. I never stuck around to find out. I did not marry that woman that I told you about in that story. I passed her like a hot potato. It was fun while it lasted. It was good for now, and then I moved on. So, am I the simp for having done that? Am I a simp for he got with a single mother? What do we say all the time? Yeah, have sex with them, have fun with them. Don't marry them. Don't wife them up. Don't make her, don't make her kid or another man's child your liability. And I didn't. In fact, by every metric that any guy has, I did everything right. I didn't plan it that way, but I did everything right. I met my wife I met her at a club. She doesn't have an Instagram, doesn't have OnlyFans, is not on Seeking Arrangements, was not, she was, okay, maybe she was on a girls' night out with her friends. You got me. In 1995, it was right after a gig. I had a lot of social proof. I was feeling pretty stacked and things worked out. I number closed and then I F closed within 3 dates I think it was on the 3rd date. And we were actually dating, right? And we were dating non-exclusively. She was a plate before she became my main, and then before she became my wife. I lived with her for about 4 months, 5 months. And then I was like, it seemed like unavoidable. And so we got married. Right? I'll explain to you why I made that decision later on. But again, times were different, right? But by every metric, I did everything right. I didn't knock her up. I didn't marry her because she was pregnant. As a matter of fact, she didn't get pregnant until 2 years after we were married. We had fun, man. We were going to lots of places. We're having a good time, And we said, hey, do you want to have a kid? Yeah, I do. It was by design. We planned it. We said, hey, okay, I'm ovulating. Let's go. She would call me home from work. I'd be like, oh, I got to leave early, guys. See you later. Ovulation. You want to know how I learned all about your friend menstruation and all of the progesterone stuff? And really, that's where it started. How can I knock this girl up? You go your whole life trying not to knock a girl up, and then you actually try to knock a girl up. But we were married before God and family and the state and everybody else. We were married, did everything right. But I'm the asshole, right? But that's why we did things the way we did. I didn't wife up a single mother. I didn't knock up. It's not because of an unplanned pregnancy. Maybe Rollo knows what he's talking about. I don't know. Oh, by the way, Devil Mountain Coffee, thank you very much. That's my last sip. AA says, it's not a problem Fresh used a sugar site to meet Miranda. He didn't, but keep going. Plenty of high-value men use services, but the fire started because Fresh wasn't up front and tried to spin it the other way on the podcast. Did he, or did he already know the optics of it? Did he already know? Did he learn a lesson? Did he learn a very valuable lesson from what happened in August? Now, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe he's like, ooh, oops, like he tripped. Like I said, he tripped. Okay. Well, is he going to make the most of it, or what is he going to do? What are the optics of him tripping? That's why I had him on the show, so you can hear it from the horse's mouth. Got it? Thank you. And let's keep going. What is this? Rollo, this is off topic, but how does one deal with tradcons? In what way? Actually, excuse me. Actually, here's another announcement. Where are we at? The 130 mark, 134 mark. I will be on with Elijah Schaefer very soon. I don't know if you guys are familiar with who Elijah Schaefer is. He is on The Blaze, and he is what else does he have? He's got 2 of his own shows. He's been on Tucker Carlson a few times. He's had Lauren Southern on. Yes, Lauren Southern. And for all you guys, just a little side note here, since we're all off topic. Little side note. I know that a certain crowd of guys would like to say that there's some video out there of me that I don't want you guys to see about Lauren Southern. No, it's been out for a long time. It's actually been out for probably like 2 or 3 months. So when people say, where's Rollo hiding that Lauren Southern interview? Well, first off, it was on her Discord channel, and she has the only archive of that. She put it on her channel for a while. I don't know if she kept it on or what she did with it, but I'm sure there's lots and lots of other copies of it around there. And I know that there's this new one that's floating around where he's like, it's some robotic voice saying, oh, what did Rollo think about this? How did, look, he totally dropped the ball. And it's completely clipped and cobbled together by the usual suspects. But okay, I guess we're probably going to have to talk about some of that stuff very soon. Maybe even on Elijah Schaffer's show. Something to look forward to, haters. And I like Elijah Schaffer, by the way. I think he's a pretty cool dude. Great content. Thanks, Rollo. You are welcome. L. Marshall. Here, you get one of these.
Hey, y'all.
There you go. That's all you get for $5. We're going to get back to today's topic. I just want to catch up on these. Remember, I am a one-man show, and I have Torsha, I've got Shamishi, and I've got Sam Bada in the chat right now. So behave yourselves, you animals. Okay, what is this? Here we go. People don't know how things go when you get older. Thank you. I guess I'm not older. How the world works. It's wild. North America is wild because we're in our pocket in the scene. Okay. Josh says, do you think it's harder in this day and age to be a man or a woman? It's harder to be a man today. Absolutely. I think it's harder in the sense that, well, I don't know. I can't actually, let me take that back. Let me reel that one back in. I think it depends on what the context is. What are we talking about? Harder in terms of like opportunities, harder in terms of developing into like wealth, like money wise or personal wise, or whatever it is that you like to do, like being who you are. Depends. Kind of depends. I think we make things easier for women. We certainly do in a gynocentric social order. We make education easier for women. We make really politics and social agendas and social political legislation, that kind of stuff. Yeah, we make things a whole lot easier for women these days than we ever have before. But would I want to be a man or a woman today? I'm glad to be a dude, because I think that there's more potential in being a guy these days. Sorry, ladies. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from the hot, not to take anything away from you hot girls. What else do I have going on here? Let's keep going. I gotta put that one up there. People simp for fresh in the super chats, but then jump ship when people spit another narrative. Yep. You are correct. Let's see. What did you say? Oh, that's good. Geez, I got a bunch of you guys, but I'm trying to catch up here. Ian. Hi, Ian. On campus, in church, or in a library, grocery store, mutual friends. Is that the right way? Is that the good way? How many girls do you think, and I don't know, Ian, maybe you know, but how many girls on campus have how many of them are paying for their student debt load with OnlyFans? I just saw this story this morning. Somebody passed this along to me. Some chick from the WNBA just started her own OnlyFans. And because they're not paying her enough. If they just paid her more, if they paid her what the men's team was making, she wouldn't have to resort to this, self-prostitution. No, she's doing it because you can make a lot of money at it. But we're going to change the narrative. Funny how we'll change the narrative for that, but we won't change it for fresh. Right? We won't change it for guys who are on their game, or guys who are on their hustle. You can make a lot of money on it. You can be a YouTuber and make a lot of money. You can go on OnlyFans. I said this before. Like, I remember when, was it Megan Rapinoe from the soccer team, from the women's soccer team? She was going before Congress or the president or whoever with her pink ass hair talking about, oh, we need to get the same pay for equal work. That's not how it works. Megan. Is it Megan? I think it's Megan Rapinoe. Miss Rapinoe. Because by that logic, I should be able to go to OnlyFans and go, God damn it, I'm a guy and I'm showing I've got all these dick pics. I can't make $100,000 a month. I demand that OnlyFans give me equal pay for equal work. How come that's not a narrative? Guys, you need to march on Washington and tell them OnlyFans will not be a pay pig any longer until men get equal pay for equal dick pics. The end. Thank you very much. Let's go before the Supreme Court and plead our case. I guarantee you the girls on campus, college is pretty much a given. Girls in church, girl in the library, grocery stores, mutual friends. Maybe that should be the first thing out of your mouth. Maybe, like if that's you, if you're going like, well, I don't want to get with a non-quality woman. I want to get with a quality woman. So if that's the case, the first word out of your mouth whenever you're like dating a girl or you're getting to know her, you got to go, so young lady, do you have an OnlyFans? Are you on Seeking Arrangements? You are? Check, please. If that's not coming out of you, if that doesn't come out of your mouth forthwith, then you're a beta. You're a simp. Mr. Simperton, super chats. I am getting to them. Thank you very much. Hold your horses. I always get to super chats. I appreciate my audience, and I don't care what the denomination is so far. I understand why people do that. I understand why, like, Tim Pool and certainly Fresh and Fit. Yeah, after a certain point, man, it's just like the chats just keep flowing and flowing and flowing. It is like and I'm happy to have you guys. Thank you all of you for coming here today. What'd you say, instigator? As long as you are in shape, on your purpose, and understand game, you can meet a woman anywhere. Thank you. Thank you. So.
Hello there, children. How's it going?
There you go. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Yes. As long as you are in shape, on your purpose, and understand game, you can meet a woman anywhere. Even in the darkest of places. Thank you, ultimate instigator, ultimate alligator. You have to pardon me. I am filling in for super chats here. Spin Doctor, support for the show. Thank you for that $10. I always appreciate that. What do you want? Here.
Stump that bitch.
That's what you get for that. Now we get down to it. That Star Wars reference had me laughing out loud. Thank you for the knowledge and the entertainment. You are welcome. Did you catch that? How many people caught that? Help me. Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. Garrett Travis, what part of the epiphany phase has a woman leave her boyfriend of 13 years to date around? She wasn't happy anymore. She did this at 32 years old. Garrett, that would be a good question for Michaela Peterson. I would love to put that to her. She's 29 and she, up and left the dude. But, so you said she did this at 32 years old. Okay. I would have to ask a few questions. Garrett, let me, I know this is a shameless plug. I really do, but, join my Patreon and join the conference calls. I would love to dig into this in a more significant way with you. But we have a once a month conference call that if you are at the the $200 tier it's just $200 a month. You get a 2-hour meeting once a month with me, plus probably now we're at 10 guys. We'll probably be at more than that later. Again, this is not me giving you the shuck and jive. It's like it's much easier to do this than try to diagnose you here from a super chat. Or analyze your situation. However, I will give you the short, brief answer is that when women have gotten to a point where they have consolidated on things that they expect to consolidate at different phases of their life. For instance, I use Michaela Peterson as an example. There's other ones I could use, but you get a woman who's like, say, 23, 24 years old, or maybe younger. She marries a guy, has a baby with him for whatever reason, maybe for the best of reasons. But then she gets to be about 32 years old and she's like, is this the guy? Can I do better? And in an age where attention comes with the utilities, it's like hot and cold running water. Just get it on your cell phone, get it on your smartphone. It stimulates what I've called the hypergamous doubt. And that doubt is based on one thing. Is he the best I can do? Can I do better? And if I can, then I better do something about it now. And if that's at 32 years old, then sometimes that's it. And again, this is not, and guys like to take this personally, but I'm on my game. I'm building myself up. I'm 32 too, and she's 32, and we have a kid together, and she's decided she's going to bail on me, and she's through the epiphany phase. And again, this might be contextual. There's probably a lot of details I don't know about it, but I've mentioned this before, is a lot of women go through what I call the making up for missing out phase. Usually it's a little bit later, but it's like prior to being 40 years old, where women are still convinced by the social conventions of today that they still got it and they can still, like, I think one of the really tragic social maladies, I guess, of today is again, that's a perfect example, a nice segue back into it. Old order expectations, old order. Well, I want to have a baby. I want to have a man. I want to, or I got pregnant early and I guess he'll do, I got to do the right thing, have the baby. Maybe it's because my family are this way, or it's traditional, or I'm religious, or whatever my convictions are. I'm not going to abort the child. Good for you. But I get to the point where, like, you've got this old order, you make decisions based on old order thinking. And then between the time that you had the kid or you made that decision to, in this case, 32 years old, you've got this in your hands the whole time. And you're, oh, what's Joni doing? What's Susie doing? What's Sally doing? What's my sister doing? What's my younger sister doing? Living vicariously through those women during their party years that they didn't get to experience. And as I said before, never in the history of mankind have women had more access to easy affirmation and attention than today. So all of those old order decisions now suddenly conflict with new order opportunities, or at least perceived opportunities. If I left this guy, I could get on OnlyFans. If I left this guy, I could go on Seeking Arrangements and find me a really hot guy to treat me right and take care of my kid. Hell, this is my running joke, by the way. Whenever I watch Fresh and Fit, if you see me in the chat and I say, is she going to need a baby? Is she going to need a babysitter? Thought mommy's in the club. That means there's probably one or two on that panel that made that decision. They had kids already. What the fuck are you doing on Fresh and Fit at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday night? Why are you not home with your kids? Who's watching? You gonna need a babysitter. That's the joke, right? That's the Kevin Savo song. Right, the fellas. Sorry, it's not just Kevin. God, now Rage and his brother are gonna throw rocks at me. No, but it's the fellas, right? I mean, it's thought mommy's in the club. I'll play that video for you if you'd like. I think it's a fantastic song, and it's humorous enough to sort of be catchy and stick in your brain. But it's humorous because that's what's going on. I don't think enough guys even think about that now. Which one of these girls has 2 kids? Which one of these girls has 1 kid? Who's watching the kid? Mom? While she's here talking about, what do you look for? And Fresh is like, what do you look for in a man? Benefits. Because I got kids waiting at home. That's really what she wants to say. But again, it's the old order, like, the old order side is, well, I had kids and I've got to be a good mom. My kids come first. You'll find that on Tinder. What do you look for in a guy? A man with benefits. He's making money, so that makes it okay. I don't know. Does it? For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his eternal soul? Nice pivot. I like that one. That was really good. He'll lose his eternal soul for sourcing a chick. What about the guy? What about the guy I just mentioned a little while ago? What about the guy who has in this case, an active porn star? Apparently that's Christian kosher right now. But well, maybe that's extreme. What if she was a former porn star and he's, oh, well, she's turned to Jesus, so I guess everything's fine. Is that all right? I've had this conversation too, and I don't mean to run you up the flagpole here, nostalgic, because I know you're trying to troll here, but let's just back up away from it for a second here. I've had this conversation before. What about, like, I'm about to go on with Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate. These guys are ballers, man. It's all about the money. What about people give me grief for having any kind of association with John from Modern Life Dating? People give me grief for even, still entertaining, like seriously co-branding with Fresh and Fit. Well, remember what my history with Fresh and Fit is. Remember me, the first time I went on there, they were at 20,000 subs, and I think I was at about 86,000 subs back then. And they whipped past me real quick. That's a popularity contest. Remember this. Subscriptions are a vanity metric. Engagement is really where it's at. John from Modern Life Dating. What's this? John, what's your sub count at right now? I know it's not I know it ain't 20,000, but he makes a shit ton of money off of that. But that's okay. I guess he made a lot of money. I said exactly this. Joe Rogan. Well, it doesn't matter what Joe Rogan says. $100 million. That makes it right. You guys threw me under the bus for that fucking quote too. Now you're going to go back on that? Fuck you. Now you have a problem with that because it's fresh. That's why you have a problem with it. What about Joe Rogan? When I said $100 million, anything that comes out of Joe Rogan's mouth is gospel because he makes $100 million. He sold out to Spotify. What about Tim Pool? He makes a ton of money, enough money to like make that roll in RV studio, which I think is badass. A great idea, by the way, Tim. That's a lot of money. Well, what makes it okay? I don't know. What makes it okay? Do you know how much money? Like, I am in no way the most paid guy in the manosphere. Trust me. Trust me. John from Modern Life Dating will tell you exactly the same thing. Rollo, you are under monetized. Yeah. Because I don't want to lose my soul. But it's exactly this. He makes money, so that makes it okay. Well, no, it makes it okay because he is who he is. Joe Rogan, oh, kosher, okay in our book. Who else? Who else makes a shit ton of money that you might have a problem with? I don't know how much money the Tates are worth. They clearly make a lot of money. What are they doing to get it? Well, I'm going to ask them that. I don't know if it's still webcam girls, but does that make it okay? Is what they say? Are you going to talk? Are you going to listen to what they have to say? Are you going to I still think Joe Rogan is worth listening to for sure. I still think the Tates, at least to some degree, actually, I'm going to use Tates. Yeah, they are. They have something to say. If you made less money, would that make what you have to say more or less valid? I just work here, man. What'd you say? All your books are good stuff. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I am in no way. It's funny. I looked up what Jordan Peterson's net worth was. Somebody told me, like, either in the comments after last week's show, they said, well, Jordan Peterson's worth $100 million. It's Peterson Incorporated. I'm like, that's bullshit. I looked that up. Jordan Peterson's net worth is $8 million. Like, oh, it's just $8 million. It's not like it's $10 million. It's not like Dave Portnoy, not to be confused with Mike Portnoy. He's worth $100 million. Kiyosaki, probably about $100 million. I think you could probably find that on like networth.com. Mikhail Peterson, $1.5 million. So whose opinion is more significant? Again, vanity metrics. You can be a dumbass and make a lot of money. Oh, another one from you. People with a real discernment can see through it was just a plot bull. Oh, they can. No money is worth my rep. Law number 5, guard your reputation with your life. Yeah, but you know what else? You know what else is on that law? What is it? Court attention at all costs. For every law that you can quote from the 48 Laws of Power, I can quote you another one that will counter that. That's the beauty of the 48 Laws of Power, by the way. Court attention at all costs. Enter into action with boldness. Isolation is dangerous. Do not build fortresses around yourself. Shall I keep going? Shall I keep going? I can quote the 48 laws of power like the Bible, man. Oh, here we go. Now we're catching up. I have had this discussion with people at church. Some agree with us. There is no right way at church, really. Most believe you have to basically not try to meet anyone and just be yourselves. Yeah, just be JBY is not the way to go. I don't buy the latter. I am studying their responses with new eyes. Good for you. And let's see. Why is this all caps, young lady? Oh, this is great. Go look up Torsia. Is she on Seeking Arrangements? Because then you can get me. Then you won't. Will you believe the bullshit? Will you believe? Well, Rollo's lying. He must have been her pay pig off of OnlyFans or whatever. No. You guys are like having. Goddamn. When I try to catch up on Superchats, I like catch up on shit that happened probably like half an hour ago. Great point. It just used to be raised at Venezuela, now in Ireland, blah, blah, blah. Thank you. Series got you. Okay, keep going. I think I liked it better when Sam Bada was recording all of my supers here. You say that your wife would have cause to leave you if you turned into a bum, but that is a betrayal of her marital vows, is it? I know hypergamy doesn't care about vows, but what should they be? Well, maybe that's something that we need to update. Because realistically speaking, divorce is always on the table. Thank you, Pat Campbell. Oh, we had this discussion with Pat. I did anyways, on his channel, on his radio show, God rest his soul, and on here, right? Is divorce off the table? Divorce is just off the table. Never happened. Oh, I know it was. It was when I had the discussion. God, this is great. When I had the discussion about my famous quote, which is sex is the glue that keeps relationships together. Okay, well, if your wife stops having sex with you, is that against the marital vows? Forsaking all others? Well, if she stops having sex with you, should that be part of the deal? Because technically that's not in the vows. But if you become a bum and she, blows you off, then I guess you're going against your marriage contract or your covenant, I guess. You could make that that reasoning. But technically your wife could say, you know what? No more pussy for you. I'm turning off the spigot. It's not in the vows, so you're fucked. Sorry, you're done. Well, should we change the vows then to fuck me 4 times a week? Got it? I do. So anyway, not to be flippant here, but I talked about this with Pat Campbell, because what's the contract? What's the deal? What is sex part of the deal? Well, yeah, okay. Well, what kind of sex? Is she supposed to be like into it all the time, or is she just giving you duty sex? I remember that. I got into a lot of trouble for even mentioning that word, for even like giving voice to the term duty sex, which I didn't, man. It was like Christian women who were talking about this, not me. I just repeated what they said. I'm blameless in all of this, man. But they ran me up the flagpole for you. Say, oh, no woman should ever be obligated to have sex, even her husband. It's marital rape. Ah! Okay. So what? I have to obey all these rules, and there's like zero, what's the contract? What's the back and forth? It's not in the vows. So what do I do? Well, I think we understand like what the situation is, and divorce is always on the table. At least in Western societies, it is always on the table. And even I believe you can still get divorced as a Muslim, right? Western societies, the state's involved. Hell, it's insane where we incentivize divorce. So it goes against their vows. Well, you can play the God card if you want, but Timmy, I need a Timmy sound drop. Wait, here we go. Wait.
I'm attacking the darkness.
There you go. What is this? Andy Welsh says, I think the only appropriate style recommendation would be full-blown peacock mode Rollo. You think so? That should be my drip. What should be my drip? Somebody needs to send me like, I don't care who. Somebody needs to send me ideas for a drip. I'm going to go out with Justin Waller, and Justin and I are going to go like shopping. I think we can go shopping. And I think maybe I will get some new clothes. Should I cut my hair while I'm in Miami? Should I? Put a 1 in the chat. I was actually thinking about doing that, but I have too many gigs coming up with Trial of Ascension to do that yet. But I was actually considering that while I was in Miami. Yeah, man, you should go bald. Then you won't have to wear the hat. Technological chaos. Somehow the theme of YouTube been a marketing first platform still escapes me, people. Even YouTube algorithm still escapes people. Yes, it does. Even YouTube algorithm heavily biases marketing, so it makes sense for content creators like Fresh, Kevin Samuels, etc., to market heavily. Yes, it does. And also, and I had to learn this the hard way, by the way. And I try to balance that, I should say. I think I made this case before. I'm about steak and sizzle. You know how they say you got to sell sizzle with the steak with a sizzle with a steak, right? It's got to look good. You can make the most beautiful product in the world, but if you can serve it up on a silver platter, or you can serve it up on a dirty trash can lid. What's the better way to do it? Yes, there are definitely. Do I bait you guys in with certain topics? Sure, I do. But you know what? You always get education here. You always get your steak with your sizzle. If I resort to red meat, right? You know what I'm talking about. Hey, Rollo, I know it ain't much, but if you ever have the Rational Male translated in French, and released in my country, I hope this might help. I have a lot of friends that I'd like to introduce to the Red Pill. Thank you. Cheers from France. Thank you, my good French friend. Translations. Spanish is already done. I am deciding I will probably release it in 2022. It is putting it into a written form. Like I'm doing the formatting on it. And as you know, I always have to do it myself. And I also have to have proofers. I'm pretty good at Spanish. I'm in no way fluent in Spanish, but I'm pretty good. I don't know if I could proof, but I'm semi-decent in Spanish. And English, as you know. But I've got that. I've got proposals to do a Turkish version. I've got proposals to do German. I think German might already be done. French is definitely on the books. French, German, and Spanish are probably the first 3 I would release. After that, there's already a Polish version of 1 and 2, by the way. You can go find those somewhere out there. Just, I would say, Google Polish version or Polish, Rational Male in Polish. It's there. And there's also a Korean version, oddly enough, because in Korea, and I don't know if you knew this, next to Kenya, Korea is probably the next, flashpoint for the Red Pill. It's anti-feminist. It's anti-idiot. It's extremely sad that Abba and Preach got their source from Mr. White Pill. Yeah. Check your sources, guys. And the blue pillars haters follow like idiots. They do. If you are ever curious, you think, oh my goodness, it's exposing Fresh, it's exposing Rollo, exposing whoever. Look at the source. Look at their channel. Look at the topics. If your source is a channel and the only material, the only content on that channel is the guy doing takedown videos all the time. Oh, exposed. You might want to find a better source, or at least find another source too, right? You guys are killing me today with these super chats. This is like the chat itself is just outrageous right now. Okay. Alienware. The only way to tell if a woman loves you for you is if she's willing to suffer with you. Okay. Alienware. I'm about to disabuse you of this notion. Okay. The only way to tell if a woman loves you for you is she's willing to suffer with you. Well, as I've said before, women approach love from opportunism. Men approach love from idealism. And this is a man. You are a man approaching this from an idealistic perspective. When I get misquoted often enough by white pill guys, this is their favorite trope, their favorite bullshit. Right? Rollo said that women can't actually love men. No, that's not what Iron Rule of TOMASSI number 6 says. It says that women fundamentally lack the capacity to love men in a way that men believe that women should be able to love them. That quote, that rule is not about women. It is not about love. It is about idealism. It is about how men approach that. So what happens is this. Guys, you remember when I said men are the romantics pretending to be pragmatists and women are the pragmatists pretending to be romantics? That's also part of that iron rule that nobody wants to read, that nobody cares about, nobody gives a shit about. Won't read it in its entirety. Ain't nobody got time for that. Yes, that's what it says. That's why I wrote it that way. That's why I had to be very careful with that one too, by the way, because I knew exactly this. But I'm not saying that that's you, Alienware. Again, I'm not trying to run you up the flagpole here, but this right here. Let me put that back. This is a very common kind of misconception by guys, is they believe that women should be able to love them in the way that they idealistically think women ought to be loved or ought to be able to love them back. Once again, the red pill does not exist so that you will hate women. It exists so you will not hate women for what they can never be to you. This is in particular about Iron Rule of TOMASSI number 6. Men are the romantics pretending to be pragmatists. Women are the pragmatists pretending to be the romantics. Men have to qualify for romance. When men have to go and give her the ring and make things romantic, whether they know they're doing it or not. Women expect romance. Men don't expect romance. I need romance from you. Give me some romance, Torsia. Make me feel like a man. Like if I was to say that, you would say, what a pussy and a simp, right? Yeah, because the expectation, that's a feminine expectation. Romance is a feminine expectation. But women are pragmatists. They're opportunistic. Hypergamy makes women that way. We were just talking about this. Why does seeking arrangements exist? Because women are opportunistic. Of course they are, by order of degree. Some a lot more. Some can demand a lot more, or at least believe they can. Probably most women believe they can demand a whole lot more than they can really expect to. But that's the basis is opportunism. And I'm saying that in as nice a way as I possibly can. Because when you say someone is opportunistic, you go, oh, well, they're on the take. That they have to be. As Jordan Peterson said, they've got to be, women are right. They're right to reject you. They're right because you don't have what they want. Well, that's the problem. Do they deserve what they're asking for? Can they? If you want to talk about like just brutally honest Darwinian exchange, you ask women, what do you bring to the table? They can't tell you. I bring this pussy. You want some of this? That's about it. Like Patrice O'Neal, right? Patrice O'Neal in that one. I love the guy. I give it up to Patrice. That one routine where he goes and he says, ladies, if you didn't have a vagina, like you were in a horrible car accident and you lost your vagina, like how would you please your man? How would you make him feel good? How would you you can't have sex with him that way. How would you do it? And damn near every girl in the audience, of course, and he expects this. They're like, oh, I would give him a really great Hummer. I would give up the ass, whatever it was, right? And then, of course, he says, you realize what you've just done. You've reduced yourself to a series of holes. And that was the joke, right? But the reason why that's funny, or the real lesson, Aesop's fables, right? The moral of the story is women's only agency, real agency, is their sexuality. So when you say, what do you bring to the table? They can't tell you. Loyalty, femininity, love, commitment, compassion, nurturing, good mother qualities. I can cook. That doesn't even, like today, that doesn't even occur to women because it's all about opportunism. What has he got? Am I going to get on the yacht? Does he have a good car? All about the bag? Is that it? Well, does that woman love you or does she not love you? Well, she probably does, according to her own concept of love. But guys will say this, well, then she can't love me because that's not love. No, that's not love according to you. That's not love according to the man, because your concept of love is idealism. Women should love me just for me. Understand this now, because this is part of Iron Rule of TOMASSI number 6. Women do not fall in love with who you are. They fall in love with what you are. They fall in love with what you are. They might love you for who you are, but they fall in love with you for what you are. And that's a fundamental difference, a disconnect most guys have. And then when they say, well, if that's the case, then that's not real love. No, that's not real love from a male perspective. You want to know why there is, like, why my wife and I are so, like, we very much love each other, like passionately committed and in love. And if I got sick and I was dying on my bed, or I got a big old goiter out of my neck or something like that, would she stick around? Yeah, probably. Remember what happened with, was it Christopher Reeves and his wife? And he was, like, paralyzed from that horse accident and everything. She stuck with him through thick and thin. Now, granted, he's Christopher Reeves. He's got a lot of money, so he's not stupid. You can also look at, what's her name? Christina Porzakova, the girl who used to be married to Rick Ocasek from the Cars. He's dead. Now she wants to jump back into the sexual marketplace. That's the difference, right? That's the difference between those two women. But it's all about the opportunism. That's what they fall in love with you. Women cannot make an emotional connection with you, they will not allow themselves to invest in you emotionally unless you check off some of the things off of the list of prerequisites. It doesn't have to be all of them. It doesn't have to be even in the right order, but you've got to check off, a substantial portion of those. And that's what she falls in love with you for. She might stay in love with you because she falls in love with or she becomes in love, or she loves you for who you are later on. But to get to that point, she loves you for what you are. And guys they still can't accept that. And that is exactly why haters hate on Fresh right now. That's exactly why. You met her on Seeking Arrangements. That's opportunism. Yeah, it is. It's naked, horrible opportunism. At least it's above board. Sugaring, at least you know what you're getting into. You can't say, hey, I didn't know you were a sugar baby. Oh my God. What have I gotten myself into? you don't get to say that when you're on Seeking Arrangements. You don't get to say that when you go on Sugar Shack or Sugar whatever. I don't even know the site. You don't, that's taking, I didn't know you were a prostitute. Yeah. I walked into this brothel looking for a quality woman. Oh my God. You don't get to say that. And you know what? You don't get to say that now, when everything in the sexual marketplace is brand management. Look it up. The first thing you'll do when you meet a girl, what's her Instagram? How is she? You're going to go and do a background check on her, just like you would if she was an employee. It's just smart. It's where the smart money is. She's doing the same thing on you. Is this guy cool enough to hang out with me? That's what she's thinking. It's not about, the clouds parted and I just knew he was the one. There's a process, man. Even in romantic literature, there's a process. They don't fall in love with who you are. They fall in love with what you are. And you do yourself no favors by insisting that, that's not real love, then. Shakespeare told me that this is not real love. It's not in the Bible. She's not holding up her end of the bargain. The fact that you think there's a bargain, opportunism. Hi, Rollo. What do knowing what you know about the average woman's nature, do you believe it reasonable for the average 80% male who is burdened by most of civilization to continue the grind? I don't know. How close are you to being out of the 80% male? I think a lot of guys get like destitute, right? They get despondent. I'm in the 80%ers. You know who else was in the 80%? Lemmy from Motorhead. Most definitely. If you took a picture of Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead from like the 70s and you put him on Instagram, man, that would be somebody do that. Put him on Instagram or put him on, like, get a picture of Lemmy from when he was like a kid, right? Well, not a kid, maybe like when he was in his 20s. If you can find a color photo though, if you put that on, you say, this is me, ladies. What do you think the response rate would be? But he was Lemmy. He nailed so many chicks over the years. He came up out of that. He rose above his condition. So is there a reason to continue the grind? Yeah. Especially if it's for you. Chase excellence for you, not for chicks, right? Like, doesn't that sound good? Yes, it does. Fortunately, by doing that, when you achieve at least some modicum of excellence, women might actually be there. Lemmy was a rock star. Yeah, but he wasn't always a rock star. You know who else wasn't? Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons from Kiss. And Gene Simmons was one ugly motherfucker. But you know what? Guys nail it. I don't know how many women do. What do you think Gene Simmons' notch count is? He didn't get married. And Gene, according to you guys, Gene did everything right up until the end. I mean, he did end up marrying Shannon Tweed, of course, but right up to the end, he was very anti-marriage for the longest time. He did it all by the book, spinning plates until he was well into his 50s, at least. I think, when did he get married? 50s or 60s? And, he had a main, and then he was just like, I'm out on the road. I might get laid. See ya. Bye. See you after the tour is done, Shannon. And she's like, what can you do? She's not going anywhere. He's Gene Simmons. But not the best looking dude in the world. Take that away. Put him in a strictly physical arena. He does not do very well. But are there ways to rise above that? Yes, that's why beta males have been sort of like the backbone of society for a long time. You know why? Because they're all trying to figure out ways to do an end run around their condition. How can I get a hot piece of ass? I got to pay for it? Okay, well, what do I got to do? Make a lot of money? Okay. Maybe they're okay with that. I've said that before. Like when I make the comparison between validational sex and transactional sex, and Aaron Clary will fight me on this probably and say, everything eventually becomes transactional sex. Maybe you have a case. Yeah, I mean, you could, like, theoretically, philosophically, I guess you could make that case. But like at what point do you say, you know what? I'm okay with that. I know I'm not the best. I'm Gene Simmons. I play bass and Kiss, right? I know I'm not the hottest guy in the world. I know you only want to, get me off because of who I am, or excuse me, what I am, not who I am. What I am. What am I? I'm the bass player I'm the multi-million-dollar, platinum selling bass player and singer and songwriter and, core member of the band Kiss, and have been for 50 some odd years. Oh, he's not meeting girls on seeking arrangements, by the way. Trust me. Gene's seeking arrangements is back in the 70s anyways, was like road crew guys sourcing girls for him to come backstage. That was his I'm seeking an arrangement. Oh, really? What is it? That girl and that girl and that girl and that girl. Get him backstage. That was seeking arrangements in the 70s. All right. I'm probably going to, if I miss your, was that you? No. If I miss your super chats, I heartily apologize. I know I missed this one. Speed Freak gave me $50. He said, hi, Rollo, finish book 2 and starting book 3 tomorrow. Good for you. Thank you. And do consider book 4 too. You are welcome. I will give both of you here.
Where are the Cheetos?
You get a Cheetos. How's that? All right. For $5, you get a Where's the Cheetos? Let's see. Oh, Central Bohemian is in the chat. I see. Who else is out there? Torsha has stuck with me this whole long ass podcast. Thank you very much. Austin Griffin, the three biggest first date questions. How's your relationship with your dad? Do you have any OnlyFans? And do you have kids? I can imagine you saying something like that. Now, here's the other thing. You could probably figure out what those is. Oh, or did it go black? Oh, my bad. I get the camera I have over here goes to sleep. My bad. You should be able to figure that out without asking questions. How's your relationship with your dad? If during the course of the conversation, that you're having with a girl that you're chatting up or sarging or whatever you're calling it, right? You say, oh, I'm going to vet this girl. You don't ask those questions. She'll tell you the answers just by you having the conversation. You can figure those things out. Do you have an OnlyFans? Well, you could probably go look that up. You don't need to ask that question. And then second of all, do you have any kids? Well, you probably find out too on Facebook or Instagram or whatever else. Or she's probably got them as like the lock screen on her cell phone anyways. So do you have to ask? There is never an opportunity that isn't a good opportunity for spying. And I hate to use the word spy, but I believe that's out of 48 Laws of Power. You have to gather information rather than going, okay, here's my questions for you. You can gather information. It's cold reading is what it is. I mentioned that in book 5. The art of the read. Read your targets, my friend. Green Spud. I love that. What is that av you got? She breaks her rules for Fumcan and Chad, but what happens if she does a relationship with him? Will she eventually get bored of that guy, ultimately treating him the same as the beta guy that she views as a provider? Well, that's all contextual, my friend. See, if the guy is the stereotypical, hot guy in the foam cannon party in Cancun on spring break, well, I was hot, or he was hot, I was drunk, and one thing led to another. That, again, that's sort of me just being flippant about the sort of the archetype there. If the guy is like, women will rate guys as being more alpha or less alpha based on where they think that guy ranks up in sexual market value as compared to her own. Remember when I talk about like how hypergamy does not seek its own level? It's always looking for something bigger and better. Well, if you're the hot guy in the foam cannon party and you meet Sally there and she says, oh man, I'm drunk, let's go. Right. If that's the dynamic there, and miracle of miracles, Sally gets to lock that guy down. Well, it kind of depends. Is that guy like a step above her in SMV? Does she perceive it to be? Is he 2 steps? Do all of her girlfriends want to bang him? Are all of her girlfriends warning her about this guy because he's the kind of guy who looks so good that other women are going to want to get with him and other men are going to want to be with him? That's what's known as being a contextual alpha. And yes, I have written about that ad infinitum. Well, Rollo never talks about, situations with alphas and you could be alpha in one and beta another. No, dickhead. I have talked about that so many times. Go read the first one. Go read the first book. Just because you don't do your homework doesn't mean that I didn't. So yes, contextual. I'm not yelling at you, but the contextual alpha is definitely a thing. Like when you have a guy, and this is, I forget the instance of this, but if you have a guy who is the teacher, like what is it? The Police wrote a song about this, right? Don't stand so close to me, because I believe it was Sting who was a teacher at one time, and young girls would fall in love with Sting. Now, Sting's a good-looking guy, he's a musician, whatever, but at the time I believe he was teaching college. Pretty sure he has his teaching credentials. Maybe he did at one time, but he wrote that song about, the subject, the teacher, schoolgirl fantasy, right? But look at all the lyrics in that. That was about a dynamic of technically a contextual alpha. When a guy is in a position of leadership or directorship of some sorts, and people are looking to him for direction, and I don't care where that is. I'm using the classroom as an example here. That guy he's the authority in that environment, in that domain. And yes, that makes him a contextual alpha. Take him out of that, and then you kind of get to realize, well, does he command respect in every arena, or is it just in the classroom? And a lot of guys will understand what I'm talking about. Like, you can get into a certain environment or a domain, and women will find you more attractive because of that. You're the one that people look to for authority, answers, and everything else. So, and I've been in that position, by the way. I wrote about it, and I believe it was a post called Command Presence. And the example I gave was this. There's a time, I haven't done it in a while actually, but there was a time where I was directing a television commercial for some alcohol brands, for liquor brands. And I had to source a lot of girls from like an agency. I had to do that for promos all the time. But I had to source them for this commercial. And I found, it was a very interesting experiment that I didn't know I was including myself in, but I found that by being the director, being the guy that says, okay, bitch, you go over there, dude, you go over there, you go here. And I'm the guy that people are looking to get the shot that I want, because it's my vision that I'm trying to make happen in a 30-second commercial, which takes all freaking day or 2 or 3 days to shoot. But here I am. I got beautiful women, I got beautiful men too, but I got beautiful women that are right here. And they're looking to me for direction. What should I do, Mr. Director? What should I do, Art Director? What should I do? I did the same thing at all my promos, for I was at a martini fest or something. Okay, you pour this, you flirt with that guy, you do these things, your booth candy, basically. And I will, in no uncertain terms, tell them what to do, because I ain't paying you shit if I'm not getting something back from it. I got to get ROI on us even being at that particular event. So it has to go by the numbers. Well, for back then, that was my job. And that's what I had to do. And I found that like women got really excited about that. They like to be told what to do by a powerful, dominant guy. Now, am I always like that? I'm married, right? I might be that way with my daughter. I might be that with my wife, but it's not like I'm in general walking down the street going, hey, bitch, get over here. You get over there. That's not me. I'm an easygoing guy. If you ever know who I am, if you ever hang out with me, you'll realize I'm just chill as hell. But when I'm working, I'm working. So that's what I had to do. But I found out that that's the basis of being a contextual alpha. Leverage that, by the way. Use that to your advantage, gentlemen. Understand that. When people like guys say, well, women are looking for masculine dominance. Yeah, they are. You're just too much of a pussy to experiment with it. Stefan Hendry says, we here in the top 15% don't care about the bottom 85% feel. Actually, I don't think it's that you don't care. I just think that you're indifferent, that you don't. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? If it doesn't show up on your radar. The current sexual marketplace is blood sport, yes. And get it how you can get it. I don't think another man should comment how another man gets laid. The 85% are frustrated. Yeah. Well, they tend to be. But remember, but before you shit on the 85%, whatever, or maybe you're just simply making an observation. You're just indifferent. But remember that it's that 85% of guys who are trying to find some creative way, some adaptive way to solve their reproductive problem, which is I got to do an end run around this hypergamous filter. Those guys are drivers of civilization. Not to say that alpha males aren't. There are, they can be very creative and very, impressive and very, architectural, I guess. I don't know. But by and large, one of the successes of our species has been beta males' frustration, that sexual frustration. How do I get out of this? How do I make myself, how does Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead go from being this ugly dude with a big old wart on his face to nailing 1,000 chicks before he died at 70 and living the way he wanted to? Jack Daniels in hand and a cigarette in the other. How did he live like that? Was he the greatest guy? No, of course not. But he lived the way he wanted to. A lot of people still look up to him, at least maybe not as a role model, but certainly as a guy who said, you know what? I'm going to live life on my terms. How do you do that? How do you go he was most definitely in the 80%. Paul Stanley from Kiss, another great, the only reason I bring him up is because I read his biography. He was not a good looking dude. He had a funky ear. He was born with a birth defect on his ear, of all places, too. He's very self-conscious about that. And he had to overcome that to become Paul Stanley, to become that guy on stage. Paul Stanley's probably got more ass than anybody in this chat. I'll tell you that right now. Last rule 0, John MLD and Paul saying how small town girls are content with $40,000 to $60,000 earners, keeping the lights on. This sounds awfully close to Blue Pill Fantasy, Imperator or Tomassi of the Adeptus Brocanius. just like there's contextual alphas, you have to also remember what is contextual for that particular environment. Okay, so let's look at the general rule and then let's look at specific rules. So if we're looking in like I tell you guys, don't be domain dependent. Okay. Human nature has to be human nature across the board, but the way it's expressed and the way you like, especially with the sexual marketplace these days, you have to take into account the local sexual marketplace along with the global sexual marketplace. So if I'm a guy and I live in some small village in Argentina and I don't have a Lamborghini and I don't have a yacht, but I'm still the most alpha dude in that village. And women aren't expecting to get with a guy living in Miami or a guy with a yacht or whatever. But that guy right there, he's got 4 llamas and a yak. That guy's pretty alpha. And he's the guy that other men in the village want to be and other women want to fuck. Is he as alpha as Fresh? Is he as alpha as me? Is he as alpha as Andrew Tate? Is he as alpha as The Rock? Probably not on a global scale, but on a local scale, he sure the hell is. He sure is. And I think that the problem that most guys are having, and I'm going to get back to here in just a second, the problem most guys have is they think that it doesn't apply, like that dynamic doesn't apply contextually speaking. They think that the only way to be a high value guy is to sort of go by the Kevin Samuels thing. Well, how much money you're making, what kind of shape are you in? And then, even if you're the high value guy, well, you should be able to cheat. Maybe that's the case in the little village in Argentina. Who knows? That might be the domain. That might be the context of that particular domain. I don't know. What I do know is that hypergamy doesn't change. And alpha versus being beta or whatever, however you want to qualify that, doesn't change either. Women are looking for a high value man according to that particular domain. So when I say, there's a global sexual marketplace, that is sort of changing women's mating strategy, or at least changing their perception of their mating strategy. I see this applicable to, particularly in Asian societies like India, Southeast Asia, where you've got guys who are just like, they're the most black pill of the black pill. Like, oh, we're doomed, man. Indian women don't want to get with Indian men. Asian women, they'll go on these talk shows and they will express, you can go and interview them on the street and they'll tell you, I want to get with a white guy or I want to get with a black guy, because they have access to the global sexual marketplace and they think they deserve that. Well, are they going to get that? Probably not. Are they delusional? Oh yeah, they're delusional women. Let's create a YouTube show about that. Yeah, they are. Are they going to get to that? I don't know. What you're upset about is unrealistic expectations. And those expectations are not you. And that's really what kind of Jordan Peterson was saying right here. Like, he thinks that women deserve those unrealistic expectations. And if you hate women, whatever that means, then it's because you can't accept women's unrealistic expectations. Because women have access to social media and they have access. Even the little girl in the Argentina village, she's got a cell phone and she thinks she deserves the best. And the guy with 2 llamas and a yak, that guy is not the best. So I've got to find some way. I got to get a ticket to Miami so I can go and find me a guy. Well, that's not realistic for most women. I think what gets me is like, guys will say, well, I'm in the 80%, Rollo. How am I ever going to get a girl? Well, remember this. It's a bell curve. Women, there are women who are in the 80% too. They just don't realize they are, but they are. And they will. And if they're out of that, if women are in the top, like say 15 percentile, 10th percentile, at 32, they might be back in the 80th percentile again. Remember, women's sexual market value decays with age. It decays with being a single mommy. It decays with her getting too fat. It decays. It's hopeless, Rollo. No, it's not hopeless at all. You just got to wait a little bit longer. You just got to build up a little bit more. You got to be discerning. You got to be judgmental. Learn from this experience. So when you get into a position, usually right around 35, 36, 37 years old, when you get into your peak, when you get into pole position, when you get in your best sexual selectivity ages. Now you're ready. Now you're prepared. You understand your own value. You know why these guys do well? Because they understand their own value to women. You want to know why I got pissed off at Myron when all that shit went down in August? You know, flying some girl out and everything. The thing that got me about that the most, he doesn't need to do it. Like, what on earth why are you doing this? I walked with him down through Brickell, just from the studio to Moxie's, and like, he gets, hey, what's going on, Myron? Like, everybody knows who the dude is. He has a certain celebrity. So does Fresh. Fresh kind of lives it a little bit more, I think, than Myron. Myron's a little more low key, and probably rightly so. Good for you. But they know who he is. He doesn't need to do that. He doesn't need to source girls. The girls will source him. And that's maybe even more dangerous than going and looking for girls on Seeking Arrangements. Because, if women want to finesse you, a good girl who is like, let's just say a predatorial female who sees you as a mark, if you're, the more blue pill you are, the more unprepared you are to be discerning and judgmental of that girl who sees you as a mark, the gold digger, whatever, for lack of a better term, hey man, you're at a real disadvantage at that position. Because you probably don't want to think that it could happen to you. Well, she's just like, guys might say, well, she's just into me for my money, but you want to believe exactly what that other guy was saying a little while ago. Well, I want some girl who loves me for me. Well, that would be nice. I want a woman who will love me in spite of my complete lack of living up to my burden of performance. Awesome. That means she's in love with me, with who I am. Yeah, well, she doesn't get there. She doesn't get to that point unless you mark off some of those, the checklist, the 436 bullet point checklist, according to Royce. What is this, Speed Freak? I got to you. Thank you. Okay. And I'm going to keep going. No, I probably will never get on Joe Rogan. Not that I don't want to, but if they call me and ask me, I might consider it. Fine-tuned gaming. If you can only listen to people who make money, I hope y'all aren't religions, because most prophets were poor. What do you call a rich prophet? Cult leader, right? Oh man, who is that guy? Obo4, the guy in Ghana. I think people are calling him a cult leader. This black dude. He's got he's got his Izzos. He's got a wife, but I people have in the red pill have been like turning me on to like this guy. I can't, like 90% of his sermons are in, like, I want to say Swahili, and I can't really understand them, but I do know that Obafor, people again have been throwing that one at me. You want to talk about cult leader? Yeah. I've done those shows before, by the way. Would you ever consider having an interview with a young man called Bernard Riley? It would be interesting to see. I have no clue who Bernard Riley is, but would it be interesting to see?
Hey, y'all.
You're damn right it would. Remember that part in Iron Man? Hey, is it cool if I take a picture with you? It is very cool to take a picture with me. Let's keep going. Yeah. I need something with dealing with tradcons because they seem hell-bent on being alone. We'll get to that. Telly, the burden of performance is too much for most men. Most men don't believe they should have a burden of performance. They would like to opt out of it, and you don't get to opt out of it. Sorry, guys. Should I do the haircut? Why is there? Oh, see, look, I got more twos. See, now I'm catching up to that comment. Off topic. Few guys I've known change teams after divorce. Happy for them, but it seems like the red pill could give them other options. Thoughts? That is what's called sexual fluidity, my friend. You will see women change teams more readily than you will see men change teams. And by that, I mean like women will suddenly decide that they're lesbians once they divorce their husband because they realize that their options are few and far between. And suddenly it's not about being born that way. It's, well, I'm going to find a more masculine butch girlfriend who fills the role of the man that I could not get with. As far as the other way around, I don't know. I've written essays. Rollo, why do some women try to lock down alphas while others ride the cock carousel alpha D? Because they believe that their sexual market value is evergreen. There you go. There's your, wait, should I give you one too? Oh, here you go.
I want to cast magic missile.
There you go. There's your magic missile. Garfield Banya. Important and necessary work, Mr. Tomassi. All men have experienced literature to varying degrees. Now we get to verbalize it based upon evidence-based studies. Fresh is doing a great job. Thank you. He certainly is doing a great job. Job. I couldn't resist. Sorry, that was too funny. I need to slap my brother with your book. What are some of the examples of creative ways to shove red pill down his throat? Well, that right there is the wrong approach. When opportunities present themselves, okay, what you need to do is wait for those opportunities and then pick your battles. Have the conversation, ask questions. Socratic method is your friend. Something comes up in the news, something comes up within your family, something comes up with an old girlfriend. Ask a question. Why do you think she's like that? Why do you think that happens with most women? I notice this happens with a lot of women. What do you think? Ask those questions and then lead the witness. One man's chorus. The burden of performance is a joke. Oh, is it? Perform what? A society that openly hates men for today's. Oh, perform for what? A society that openly hates men. Today's women aren't keeping their end of the bargain. Not virgins, fat, or domestic skills. Well, guess what? One man's chorus. The burden of performance has nothing to do with women. Period. End of story. Go watch my my video called Dancing Monkeys. I talk about this right there. I'm not going to be any woman's dancing monkey. No, but you will be judged. You will be rated on your performance. Whether that's your mom, whether that's your job, whether that's your dad, whether that's the chick you want to fuck, whether that's your wife, whether that's your daughter, I don't care. That is me. I will judge you on your performance, and so will everyone else. Everyone on planet Earth will, because men are locked into a dominance hierarchy and a competence hierarchy. Oh, he doesn't know how to change a tire. Guess what? You failed your burden of performance. Oh my goodness, we got to change the tire. We got a flat. You're out. Fail. Next guy, get in here. That's what I'm talking about. It can be as simple as that, or it can be, what have you done? What is your life's work? What is your body of work? What does it constitute? Well, I'm not going to do that for any woman. Okay. Will you do it for me? Will you do it for your job? Will you do it for yourself? Will you do it? What will you do it for? What will you perform for? I won't perform for anybody. Well, go home. If that's the case, why you're here. If you think that. Men have a burden of performance, period. End of story. How women rate that? What are you doing it for? How you're rewarded for it? Do you think Lemmy Kilmister said, you know what? I've got a burden of performance and I really better be a rock star. That Rickenbacker bass looks pretty cool. I think maybe I'll do that. Then I will pass the test. No, he wanted to rock out. He wanted to get his dick sucked. That's what he wanted to do. And then make a lot of money at it and live life according to the way he wants to. That's his burden of performance. And he performed very well all his life. Don't think of burden of performance as some sort of litmus test for women. It's the world, my friend. Would you be willing to do an interview or collab with Thai City, aka Logic Sphere, in the near future? It will be a thrill. He sort of discusses intersexual dynamics using the hashtag 304s are winning. Okay. Sure. I don't know who he is, but I'll look him up. What's the guy's name? Thai City, Logic Sphere. Okay. Write that down. Keep that. Bookmark that for me. Somebody. Sam. Logic Sphere. You know who I would love? There's a time I really wanted to do like an interview with, or a co-branding with Stephen Woodford's from Rationality Rules, but in recent months he's kind of gotten a little, I dare say, from an atheist perspective, and he's like an evangelical atheist, and now it's kind of like the same thing. I like the guy, but I think his best days are over. Nostalgic, man, you are just on top of it today. It's not a moral fallacy if Fresh himself admits to being a Christian. Is that where we're going with this? I need a holiness sound drop. Like, oh, I need a choir. Somebody give me a choir sound drop. I'm just holding him to his own beliefs, which are also Andre is an atheist. Well, then she must have been right about him. Andre is an atheist. No, are we sure? Because according to her, from what I read on that last one, or I read that Twitter thread where Andre has said he's possessed by a demon called Igor. I would love to have him on. Okay, Andre, I want to talk to Igor. Is Igor there? Can we get a Ouija board out? Right? What is Igor there? All right. Oh, wait, there you go. Wait, let's see if I can do it. Where is Igor? All right. There you go. There's your screen cap for today. I wonder how many like multiple personalities or schizophrenia or paranoid schizophrenia was diagnosed as demon possession in the past. Alienware Gaming. Yes, men are burdened with performance. Men cannot make mistakes. Well, you can, but you'd have to learn from those mistakes. If a woman's sticking by her man when he's down, sick, or financially, then I don't know what is. There is no other form of love. Well, man, I can tell you some stories. Oh, God. I could tell you stories even about my good friend Pat Campbell, but I'm not going to dishonor his memory with them right now. But boy, before you think that Till Death Do Us Part is Till Death Do Us Part, go watch the last like 5 minutes, 6 minutes of Titanic. And, of course, the joke is, that the Titanic's not about actually a ship going down. It's about a young girl at 17. I think she was 17. Got dick so good it lasted a lifetime. And she had to go back and talk to the ghost of the dick that was so good that she dropped the diamond down into the water. I forget who was a comedian that did that. But they're not wrong. But that's what I'm talking about. It's not about like providing that lifestyle for her. It's that, what is it? 5 minutes of alpha trumps 5 years of beta. Rollo preaching. I appreciate it. Still don't understand the scandal about Fresh. I do. Does men have to be smart? Does men have to be smart on which excellence he will have? Yeah. Okay. I think I know where you're going with that. For example, being a master in building radios won't get him many places. Well, I don't know. What kind of radios? Where are you at? What's the domain? If you're living in like some sort of third world country, maybe building radios is a big deal. There's probably a time, maybe in the 1930s, where like being, putting together a radio or designing a radio was probably like coding, like a computer coding today. But times change, contexts change, environments change, and you got to change with it too. So if you like to build radios as a hobby, you can, ham radios? I don't know what kind. That sounds more like a hobby to me. I think a lot of guys get upset that like women aren't into their hobbies, and it's like, it's not. I wish, God, if hobbies could get you laid, oh man, how awesome would that be? Let's see. Okay, I got to you. I still have a few things I wanted to show you guys here today. We still have a little more to go. Okay, here we go. Got to you. Vinny, got to you. I will probably miss some of these because I'm scrolling down really, really fast here. What does he mean by the foam cannon party? Blue pill unplugged. I've noticed so many red pill guys want black, white answers. Yeah, they do. Very few things in life are dependent on very few things are not dependent on context and many, many variables. Yes. Primary reason. Actually, you get this. That's a good observation. Primary reason for me saying that hypergamy is not a straitjacket. You've just hit the nail on the head, my friend. Context, timing, maturity, decay of sexual market value. There are lots and lots of different variables as to why hypergamy is not a straitjacket. It's not always like, oh no, I'm not going to get with a girl because she'll get with somebody else who's better than me eventually. Yeah, well, eventually hopefully, if you're doing your job right, your sexual market value will be way more than hers in the long term. That's the great, I was asked, who has it easier in life, men or women? I told you I'd rather be a guy because my value, my high valueness, my value as a guy, however we're going to define that, I don't care how you define it. But one thing that I think is pretty consistent is you have the potential as a guy to have way more value over the long term than women do, because women's primary agency is based on their sexuality, which of course is a depreciating asset. I know you guys love that term. I say it's perishable, right? It decays. That's why I say that, women's party years, their hoe phase is 18 to 28. That's when they're on top. That's when women are the most powerful. 18 to 28, usually right around 23, right? That's a peak of women's power. And when guys get all upset, and like Jordan Peterson, if you hate women, it's because you don't live up to their expectations. Well, a lot of guys who are just really despondent about women, they see women as being very powerful. And usually it's when they're at the peak of their sexual agency, man. Guys don't go, oh, here's this 50-year-old chick on OnlyFans. Man, she's just so perfect and women can do anything. They're not using her as the example. They're using the chick on OnlyFans who's a hot piece of ass who's 23 years old. And by order of degree, right? Well, they might say, well, she's 50 and she can get with anybody she wants. You could use that as the example, but that is most definitely not the apex example of women being powerful. Most women are overweight. Certainly in the United States, 40% of women are obese in the United States, and 75% of women are overweight in the United States. And that 75% still want you to think that they're sexy and curvy and hot. Right? They're not. But so what does that leave you? 25% of women who are in shape and or exceptionally good looking. Those women are pretty powerful, particularly, or they at least project the image of a woman who has a power over men because she has all these simps. She has all these pay pigs. That's why you guys are upset with Fresh, because you think that chick, she's 22, by the way. I think Miranda is 22 years old. Yeah, she's right there in that demographic. Oh, he's simping. He's 29. Make it rain, Fresh. She looks very powerful. What if Fresh had got, now here's the thing. If Fresh had been getting with a chick who's 42 years old, who's on Seeking Arrangements and and OnlyFans or whatever, we would have a much different conversation. Him driving the car, much different conversation. But that's where we go with it, right? She's much more powerful. But that power it burns hot and fast. Men, you have the potential so that your power and your value burns hot, very hot, and slow burning. Women need security much longer than they have the capacity to in some way consolidate on that security. That's why when women get to the epiphany phase, it's like, oh no, the lights are coming on at the club pretty soon. I better find something to do. You want to know why Tomi Lahren was just beside herself in that one video like a year ago in 2020? She's 28 years old. The lights are coming on. She's panicking. That was really Tomi Lahren panicking. Same thing with Brittany Renner. Brittany Renner, I hate men. Nah, nah, nah. Yeah, well, of course you do. Because the party's almost over for you, Brittany, and you better cash out while you still can. And she did. But that anxiety and that urgency and that's like that paranoia, that trying to think, like just that anxiousness that women have, it usually comes right around 28, 29, 30. That's why I peg the epiphany phase right around there, because that's when women begin to finally acknowledge that the chuck wagon's pulling out. They can't compete with their 22-year-old self. And when Miranda gets to be 29, I guarantee you somebody will find I don't know how old will I be? That will be 7 years from now. In 7 years, somebody needs to send me her TikTok. When she hits 29, it'll happen. Trust me, it'll happen. Porgy Jr., thank you for being transparent. Well, you are welcome. I try to be. People think, oh, Rollo, it's easy for you because you got everything right. No. Wisdom does not come from being right. Wisdom comes from making good decisions. Well, wisdom is about making good decisions, right? Well, how do you get there? Make bad decisions and learn from those bad decisions. That's how you do it. Experience. Most people don't learn from other people. They learn from experience. They learn from putting their hand on the hot stove. Walt Mosher. Rollo. Recently, Kevin Samuels has been upfront, open about finding no problem with the HMV having transactional relationships. Yeah, of course. Other manosphere bloggers avoid the topic. Thoughts? Well, I was just saying I'm a manosphere. I guess am I a manosphere blogger? Of course I am. I just said a few moments ago, a lot of guys, when it comes to the transactional nature of sex, most men, especially in that 80 percentile of guys who are like, the undesirables, let's just say, not saying you have to stay there, but most of those guys will come to a point where they go, you know what? I'm good with a hooker. You know what? I'm good with seeking arrangements. I'm good with paying for sex. I'm good with that. I'm okay with that. I know I've got so much money that the odds of me finding a woman who's really into me for me, who's going to give me validational sex as opposed to transactional sex, or a real good performance of transactional sex, I'm okay with that. Sure. Suck my dick. Yeah. Oh, I got lots of girls. Are they all into me? Like, remember when Abba asked, Fresh, like, dude, do all these girls respect you? Like, I wish I would have been there, because it would have been, I've done the show before, but I wish I would have been there, because it's like, who cares? Who cares? I'm not looking for her respect. I'm just looking for, I want to get laid. I want to spin plates. If something comes to the surface, if something's really great, then fine. Respect doesn't even enter into the equation. And the fact that you would place an importance on respect leads me to believe, and then, at the other end of your ass, oh, it's okay to pay for poom poom. Well, so what is it? Respect or paying for poom poom? What are you paying for? Do they all respect you? I'm not paying for respect. I'm paying for cooter. That's what I'm paying for. Well, if you're okay with that, then maybe that's where you're at. The problem happens when guys believe in the performance, when they think transactional sex is actually validational sex. Wow, she's really great. I mean, oh gosh, she was the best lover I've ever had. Yeah, because she's trying to earn her keep. She's trying to, it's still transactional sex, but you are too blind, or you don't have a frame of reference enough to, make that call, to be discerning about that. And again, no shame in that. It's just, you're just ignorant. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, you're just ignorant of the whole scenario. And so transactional sex is usually, for 80% of guys, I would say transactional sex is usually the only frame of reference men have. I'm going to tell a story. Oh God, I got to tell a story. I used to think that way too. And clearly Jordan Peterson still thinks that way. Jordan Peterson is still stuck in old order transactional sex, because that's all he's ever known. In fact, he says that blatantly in the Ruslan thing. I'll play the rest of that here in a minute. But he says that openly. Right? Well, you're just not living up, bucko. Bucko. Clean your room. Start there. You're not living up. You're not living up to women's expectations. You just need to be better. If we had better men, women would be better too. No, they wouldn't. You know why? Because women have choice. They have more choice than they've ever had in their lives. But guys who have never had validational sex, I'm like speaking a foreign language. There's a difference between validational sex. Like, I want to tear your clothes off and fucking ride you to glory. Was it Eddie Murphy? Remember in Eddie Murphy Raw back in the 80s? What would you rather have? Would you rather have a woman say, make love to me, Eddie? Or would you rather have a woman say, fuck the shit out of me, Eddie? That there's a qualifiable difference between those two. And he was making a joke about it, but it's true. There's a difference. There's a difference between transactional sex and validational sex. But guys who are sort of in that beta, blue pill, transactional frame of mind, they think, well, I have to earn it. How do I earn it? Well, I've got to work until I'm 30, and then hopefully the quality woman will rise to the surface after she's done with her journey of self-discovery, which means having her hoe phase. But you did it right. You did it by the book. You're 30 years old. You're going to make partner on the law team. You went to school. You're a well-respected man. You've got your own business. You've been chasing excellence. You've been going to your upstanding member of the community and have been going to church all your life. And now you're ready to settle down and find a little lady, a school marm. But yeah, the reason why you think that that's going to be a mating strategy, I've got to be prepared. I've got to be a good husband. I've got to be a good father. I've got to be ready to do this. The reason why you think that is because you have a transactional state of mind. You know, I didn't have to be that when I was getting laid in my rock star 20s. I had like, I'll say it again, man. I had a 1979 Toyota pickup with no tailgate. I had the net. I had, I had a half stack. I had a Randall half stack. I had my guitars. And that was about the extent of my liquid assets when I was 22, 23. And I got laid like nobody's business. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about future. It wasn't about, being an upstanding member of society. I was being rewarded with sex because women wanted to fuck me. It wasn't about, you spend a lot of time. He's going to make, he is most definitely, Rollo TOMASSI at 22 was definitely not going to be making partner in the law firm. But that didn't stop. That didn't mean jack shit to women who, in some cases were happy to pay for my drinks, at the very least. One of them gave me a car even. So I could come out and see her. But, and that's just simply the way things were. And that taught me right there the difference, although I can verbalize it now, but I couldn't at the time. But that taught me the difference between, qualifying for sex, like with, being something, right? Like chasing excellence, I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying there's a difference in the frame of reference when it comes to that. So a lot of guys have a problem with this. Like when I talk about like the hot guy in the foam cannon party, that's the guy that women break rules for, but yet they make rules for the guy who they're going to spend the rest of their lives with. Meanwhile, she's having sex with the hot alpha in the foam cannon party who didn't have to abide by those rules. He didn't have to do that. She's in her hoe phase. She's discovering herself. Oh, I don't want those jerks anymore. I've had my fun. It's time to get serious with you because you have benefits. You stuck to your guns and you made something of yourself. And now she needs a turnkey relationship with you. But if your only frame of reference for sex is transaction, you will willingly buy into that narrative. You will willingly buy into the epiphany phase where she says, Michaela Peterson, I found God. Oh, great. She's still hot too. Oh, she's a reformed porn star. Great. I'm going to wife her up. Because all you know is qualifying for it. All you know is the transactional side of sex. You don't know the validational side. You don't know you've never experienced a woman looking at you and her eyes dilate and she's just like ready. DTF. Okay, now I'm going to tell you the story. You ready for the story? Here's story time. Story time with Rollo. Okay. I was playing in a band at the time. I'm not going to mention the name because I don't want you guys going and looking it up. I was playing in a band at one time. And I had to come up through the ranks, I think. I was playing bass, by the way. I wasn't playing guitar. And I had, like I said, I had long hair down to my ass. It was right about the same time that the single mommy thing was going on. She was like a plate at the time. But I remember playing a really great show. It was one of the best shows I ever played because it was one of the times that I was down in Hollywood and I really felt like I was there, like I was really doing something. Now I'm part of this. I wanted to be part of it for a long time. I always wanted to be like in a band. I always wanted to do these things. I always wanted to learn music. I always wanted to play. I was always very creative. I learned how to be in a band. I learned how to record. I learned how to travel. And I learned how to pack things up. I was my own guitar tech for a while. I did actually have a guitar tech. But I was playing this one gig. And it was at this gig that I realized we were popular. Because people were talking to us and guys were coming up to me and going, hey, man, you guys rock, blah, blah, blah. They're patting you on the back. And I was getting all this social proof, but I didn't realize it was social proof at the time. I was just sort of, guys building you up and anticipating you playing a show because they were there pretty much for the same reason I was, which was certainly not the money. It was because the chicks there were pretty hot and they all had big hair, right? Wet t-shirt contest, right? I remember Gazzari's wet t-shirt contest. So we were there. And I remember right after that gig, right after we were done, and it was one of the best shows we had ever played. And I got dragged into the women's bathroom. I don't think the club is still there. Oh, no, maybe the Troubadour is still there. Anyways, I believe it was at the Troub, and I got dragged in the women's bathroom, and that was the first time I ever had like two chicks like try to kiss on me at the same time, and I was like, God damn, I've made it! Wow, this is awesome, right? And it was at that point, I think, and I think it was 22 years old. And it was at that point that I realized that if I'm thinking about myself, then it seems to me like chicks come to me, and it doesn't matter that all I have is a pickup truck and my music equipment to my name and 2 nickels to rub together. These chicks just want to get with a guy like me. And it didn't have anything to do with earning it. It didn't have anything to do with, oh, you got to make sure the temperature in the room is right. And you've got to make sure that the pillows are from Bed Bath and Beyond. And the curtains are, and the barometric pressure in the room is okay. And, you've got to earn all this, mister, because, you've got some expectations to live up to. Your women are right. Fuck you. You know how I say fuck you and I can laugh at that? Because I've experienced validational sex. There's a lot of other guys who have too. So when they hear that, they go, you do you, brother. Go ahead. Have fun. I think that's the difference, is understanding the difference between transactional versus validational sex. And by validational, I mean the kind of sex that a woman wants to have, free of the pretense of money or a future. It's just, you're right there right now. And people say, well, that's lust. Well, yeah, but lust is still sex. Well, you're not in love. Well, the guy's saying you got to be in love. That's a condition. That's your condition for it. I didn't have a condition of love when I was 22 years old. I got to be in love with her. In fact, if anything, being in love with the girls complicated the shit more. Especially when I know that sounds callous. That's horribly callous, right? Well, you're having meaningless sex. I have never had meaningless sex. I meant to fuck every girl I ever fucked. Simple as that. But do I love my wife? Yes. Have I had sex with my wife for the last 26 and a half years exclusively? Absolutely. Do I enjoy it still to this day? Absolutely. Because when I finally had sex with my wife, it was most definitely validational. It was not about like, oh, well, I better get this guy because he's got such a great car. I still had the Toyota pickup at that time. I got to get with this guy because, boy, he must be doing well for himself with that half stack. Had nothing to do with it. You want real love? Like, people, well, I need a girl who's really into me or falls in love with me. Well, if you can get a girl to fall in love with you and you're like this broke ass snowboarder guy, which was not me, but if you're like, I've seen broke ass guy, I've seen women just like fall in love with guys who are just they're bums, man. You go, how the fuck did she fall in love with this guy? He has no future. Look at him. All he does is smoke pot all day. He's a surfer. He's whatever. Validational sex. She wants to get with that. She hopes that he's going to amount to something. But does it happen? I don't know. Blue pill, HVM, our lottery tickets for high value men. Our lottery tickets for women. Yes. I'm trying to catch up. I don't want to miss anybody's here. One man's course. Again, if betas are the backbone of civilization, I'm not having a conversation with you, dude. If betas are a backbone of civilization, what happens when civilization disincentivizes reproduction? Well, I can answer that right now. You're going to find out. We're going to find out very, very soon. That's what's going to happen. You tell me, man. That's a very good question. Educating women, which prices them out of the dating market, no fault divorce. That's where we're at right now. Have that, I'm not the one you need to have that conversation with. You know who you have that conversation with? Jordan Peterson. The roommates, Ruslan or whoever. He's a low limit guy. Whoever, like Candace Owens, that's who you need to have that conversation with. You need to have that conversation with Matt Walsh. You need to have that conversation with like all these guys who are like, at least, sub-level mainstream guys who are like tradcon. You remember you guys saying, how do you deal with tradcons? That's the conversation you need to have with tradcons right there. What's going to happen if the incentives aren't there for women? Yeah, exactly. I like Ryan's take. Where this is like training wheels, we take off the wheels, take off once we understand things. Yes. Then we choose what we want to do with the info we have. Exactly. You can use the fire to cook your food, or you can use it to burn down your house. Is Donovan out there? Hey, Donovan. Donovan's going to be in Miami with me too, by the way. Let's see. Yeah. Yep. I think we're going to have some pretty interesting conversations this coming up. I'm very, I am anticipating, I'm looking forward very much so to the shows that we are going to do next week. I think you guys will be happy with that. Hobbies can definitely get you laid. Depends on the hobby. I do custom woodworking with a lot of epoxy. First thing that girls mention now, and they see my profile. Can't wait to see in Vegas from Robert, your sound guy. Oh, cool. Yeah, I think I've done the hobby show before. Hobbies only make you more attractive if women get some kind of value out of that hobby. If your hobby is like playing basketball with your friends after work, I'm probably into that. If your hobby is building Lego ships, Jack Napier, probably a hindrance. Rollo, few people live in villages these days. No one in big cities knows which men are wasting their potential. Performance is only a burden in primitive clans where therefore, dude, do you understand how much of the world is underdeveloped or undeveloped? Like even in big metropolis, I'm going to name Sao Paulo, Brazil, right? Buenos Aires, Argentina, where name a big, like, oh, those are big sounds. Yeah. But the culture and the context and the social environment is much different. A guy who is a high value guy is still a high value guy, contextually speaking, from within that social environment. What we have is this idea that it's got to be like Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate's high value. I want to be like Andrew. Join the war room. Good. Go ahead. But understand that is high value in one context. Not every girl gets to fuck an Andrew Tate. Not every girl gets to fuck a Fresh. Not every girl gets to do that. That's really the disconnect most guys have. Well, I'm high value. How come I'm not getting laid? Well, maybe you fish where the fish are. Vinny, it's true. My hobbies don't attract women, so I'm forced to look elsewhere for the ones that do. Why would you worry about that? Like, what did you do with playing guitar? Well, playing guitar was never a hobby for me. It was like a moral imperative. I play guitar because it's more than a hobby to me. There's things that I consider a hobby. Like I've got my games geek out nerd stuff over there. I still draw and I paint and I do things not as I do that because it's just a creative outlet for me. I'm a very good graphic designer, as you can see by my thumbnails. I've been doing that for a long time. I am just an all around creative guy. Now, of those things I'm creative with, I consider some of them hobbies. I don't consider my music a hobby. I consider it, I guess if you can elevate it to a passion, you could. It's beyond me just doing, like, I think a hobby is something that you would do whether you get paid for it or not, or maybe it costs you money. A hobby, I think, costs you money. Whereas a passion, you think, even if you're not making money at it, you think on some level, maybe I could take this pro at some point, and then it ceases to be a hobby. But I'm going to be honest with you. I got into playing guitar because I noticed long-haired dudes on MTV getting laid. I thought I could do that. That's within the realm of possibility. Oh, thank God. Okay, I got to the end. There we go. Okay, let's put this in here again. Did I put that up? There it is. I have to finish this out because I want to finish my thought on this.
Jordan Peterson said it. I didn't say it. He said it.
Are you liar? Are you a rabid pornography user? Because maybe that's undermining your motivation to seek out a woman and grow yourself up. If you're rejected constantly and you're out there really trying, because that's another thing to ask yourself is, well, how many women have you actually asked out? And are you so sure that you're not picking women who will certainly reject you because you're trying to bat out of your league?
Leagues, right there. I can tell you right now, this is a blue pill mindset. It's blue. This is an iron rule of TOMASSI, in fact. No woman should be considered out of your league, period. End of story. I know that sounds like really like pie in the sky, right? I know that sounds really optimistic, right? But it's not you thinking, oh, I'm such a badass, I got to think more of myself, so she's not out of my league. No, it's not that leagues don't exist. It's that you need to get your head out of the mentality of leagues. And also, that's just like oozing with shame. Oh, are you jerking off? Are you playing with yourself? How great is that for No Fap November? Are you a dirty coomer? How many women are you actually asking out? How many women do you think Jordan Peterson asked out in his lifetime? I know, because I watched the interview between Tammy Peterson and Michaela Peterson. He didn't get that much play until Tammy decided that she was going to, he asked I have the video, I could put it up, but he asked Tammy in letters and stuff, like 3 times, I believe, might be more even, to ask her, propose marriage in letters, love letters, right? They seem so sweet right now, but I bet at the time it was like, oh my God, this guy again, right? How many, like when you have one-itis, like terminal, like for a lifetime soulmate one-itis, you're not in any position to cast aspersions on guys' efforts lacking or not. But it certainly plays well, doesn't it? Certainly plays well when you go, are you a dirty coomer? Are you actually going out there and make, and in a way he's not wrong. You do have to go make approaches. You do have to go do something. Are you just like sitting at home being a lazy piece of shit? Really what it comes down to is, are you living up to your burden of performance? Are you making the most of yourself? Are you making the most of your potential? That if he would have said that, I would have been like, okay. But instead,
because you might be. So, and I'm speaking about this as a clinician too, because I had plenty of men in my practice who were, radically unsuccessful with women. Pornography is a big problem. Mm-hmm. It's a big problem. It's a real curse, that pornography, in my opinion.
This man, Jordan Peterson, put all the weight of the world on men in this video. I've been saying this on the channel. I think the standard is higher for men. Call that sexist if you want to, but I just think men are called to a higher standard. And apparently Jordan Peterson agrees.
But if you were better, you'd be more successful with women.
All right, that's enough of that. I'm sick of this dude. Maybe I should, I apologize. I shouldn't have got the Ruslan clip. I should have just gone and got the roommates clip, because Ruslan is just, Ruslan, if you ever want to come on this show and get dressed down, I'd be happy to do it. It's ridiculous. And I think what's interesting is, remember what we were just saying here a minute ago, when I was talking about, sort of e-celebrity. I think one of the reasons why is it that we hold Fresh up to a different standard than we would like Jordan Peterson? People hate it. They hate it when I mention like Michaela, or I did that one show about a month or two back about Jordan Peterson, and people go, hey man, I thought you were going to interview him. Dude, Jordan Peterson don't give a shit who I am. Are you kidding? I would be surprised if Jordan Peterson has even heard my name. And yes, I know Fresh and Fit are going to have Michaela Peterson on, and there is rumor, I don't know if this is true, but there is rumor that Jordan Peterson might be in that interview as well on Fresh and Fit. What's your estimate of that now? Why do we hold Jordan Peterson to a different standard when clearly the guy has no clue what he's talking about? When the guy is like, has no idea of what's going on in sort of like the new order. He's already stuck in that old order. Certainly stuck in the leagues thing. Well, if men were better, then women would be better too. Like, that is old order thinking. Way old order thinking. Well, then you could get married. We're going to get to that too. In fact, let's get to that right now. I have to play this, by the way. I'm going to play the audio. I need you guys to tell me whether you can hear this or not. What did you say, Kofi? If a woman, although much older, like a decade or more, blushes at sight as she sees the guy, where does that put him on her rank, considering that he is broke, ugly, and overweight, not a high value man? I don't know. How does she see him? What is her condition? Describe to me the woman. Describe to me her background. Describe to me where she is in the socioeconomic platforms, right? Where just give me more than that. Well, there's a woman and she's blushing, blah, blah. Therefore, hypergamy must not be real. Dude, give me the context. Please give me the context. One of the reasons why it's really hard to do like sort of like anymore. That's it. It's very hard to do like YouTube analyses. Now I wanted to throw this on here really quickly. Let's see. Oh, what did I got here? Okay. Well, there's a possibility that Myron and Fresh might have both Michaela Peterson and Jordan Peterson on in February. That's the rumor. We will see. It's scheduled. It's hopeful. Questionable. He's not on injured reserve. Oh my goodness. I got something else coming. I got another iron in the fire. All right, here. Let's go. And I can't play this. I want you guys to tell me, give me a 1 in the chat if you can hear this. I'm going to try to up the audio. I'm just going to do the audio of this. This is Kevin Samuels talking about me, but also Red Pill creator. So here, let's see if you can. I'm not going to do the video because I don't want to get a copyright strike.
You at your age.
Well, I think
like
life, for me, life is about people. For me, life is about relationships. For me, life is made better when you have human connections along with material possessions. For me, I don't worry about all the problems of the world. I worry about my world and what I can control and the value I deliver to others and the value I get from others. So I can be just as aware of human nature, female nature, male nature, and still chart a path. This is why I think a lot of the content creators who make a lot of this content, why do you think most of the guys who make male content are in long-term significant relationships and as they're aware as they are? I'm not talking about the young guys. I'm talking about the older guys.
Because they're at the time when they secured their woman, they were in a different period of time where the women were different, the generation were different. And those people say it, that if I were a man in this generation living today, I would not get married.
Who says
Rollo
that?
TOMASSI.
And follow Rollo.
Pregnant pause.
No, I follow everyone. I'm open to hearing all sides, but
I mean,
scary.
Look,
I don't think you knew what to say, but
I don't see many millionaires or billionaires who are single. And I know, and here's the thing, I don't know Rollo personally. I don't know if you're quoting him correctly or not, but I will tell you this. I judge outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
I know most men who, especially men over 40, who are in these spaces are in long-term relationships. Most men are in relationships. See, what I hear a lot, I hear a lot of guys preaching marriage is bad and this is bad, da 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 da. And behind the scenes, they're in relationships, they're simping, and see, that's why I think, I'm not going to say something because I don't want to get dragged into a bunch of controversy. Because it ain't my world. I think I would rather be a high value man, making myself a man and having leverage to be able to control the options in my world versus trying to set myself up to defend against an undefined foe that's a female. You can get fucked over by business partners. You can get fucked over by the world. But at you're 25, I wouldn't want to live so defensive and worried about stuff that's outside of my control. If I'm hearing you correctly, you've had an 8-month relationship, and before that, hookups. Not a lot of experience.
Right.
So then stop trying to figure it out and collect experiences. Get out, live your life. Don't make any babies.
Understood. And if I may ask you one last question, Kevin.
Sure.
So what is your philosophy on marriage? Yours as in you as an individual.
For me personally,
yeah.
I'd get married again.
There you go.
So you're open to
Yeah,
getting
so
married.
I've been very clear on that. Because my first two marriages, I didn't know what I know now. I didn't know what I know now. And it's not a matter of money, although money does help. It's a matter of even if I can say, that's why I never talk crap about my exes. When if relationships fail, I say the responsibility for me and my failed relationships ultimately falls on me. And I talk to plenty of people who make content, but who are these guys single? Are they?
Most.
Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you repeat the last question?
Are they single?
The men making content?
Most of the people who make this diehard anti-marriage, anti-relationship content, are they? See, it's. Man, I don't want to go down that path. Me, look, I don't want to be 75 years old, 65 years old.
This is it.
With a rotation. It's just not. I mean, just life is about relationship. That's what it comes down to. And relationships, by their very nature, are risks.
Right.
So, just like you put your money in the stock market, how much risk are you willing to accept? Well, it's based upon the potential outcome. But if you're going to deal with women, women are always going to be a risk. Don't get into more risk than you're willing to deal with. Have you ever gambled before? Like,
all right, well, that's good enough. I think he keeps going on here. That's actually a pretty good little clip. I wish I could play the whole damn thing for you guys. Two of the takeaways that I had from this is, first of all, and if Kevin watches this, and I'm sure somebody will link him to this little section here right at the end of this show. This is not about Kevin. This is about the caller, actually, not Kevin per se. I think the misperception that people have about me is that I'm against marriage, and I will probably discuss this with Elijah Schaefer. I'm sure this question will come up. Well, you've been in the red pill for you've been doing what you've been doing for 20 years, right? Yeah, I have. How can I be so down on marriage? I'm not down on marriage. Certainly not down on my marriage, anyways. As I said in my fourth book right here. In this, where is it? There's a very, like, right in the center of the book, right? There is a very thick passage. Probably the longest chapter I wrote in the book was titled Marriage, right? And of course I cover it from a red pill perspective, but also a religious and socio-religious perspective, and what marriage has become. I very much would love each and every one of you to have a great relationship with a woman, if you're a man, or vice versa. I would love to see heterosexual, marriages between a man and a woman. And because it has been my opinion, and I've stated this God knows how many times, that men and women are better together than we are apart. We have innate complementary strengths and weaknesses that are a part of our elements, let's just say, of who we are as men and women. The guys will say, well, I'm a standalone man. I'm a Sigma male. I can do whatever I want to. I don't need no woman. I only need her to have sex and have a baby for me, and then I can take care of the rest. Rollo, I'm superior. No, you're not. I've said this. Maybe that's what you think you are, but it doesn't necessarily negate, just because that's the way you think about yourself, or maybe you can do that. I'm not saying that guys can't successfully do that, or even women do. Women better get used to that idea, because a very large percentage of them will be single and childless by the time they're between 25 and 45 by year 2030, according to Morgan Stanley and the rise of the she economy. Get used to the idea of being single, ladies. Get used to the idea of being a spinster. Guys, get used to being alone. get used to being a MGTOW, get used to being black pill, get used to jerking off, get used to being, berated by old school guys like Jordan Peterson for jerking off or for not trying. Get used to that, because until you realize that men and women are complements to one another, you're never going to come to that conclusion. And ladies, you too. If you want to put people, if you're all about relationships, as Kevin has said, life is about relationships. I think life's a whole lot more, than just relationships. But, we're talking about a guy who's been divorced twice and is open to the idea of getting married one more time at 52. Prospects for marriage for a 52-year-old man. Trust me, I'm 53. Prospects for marriage for a 52-year-old guy are much different in 2021 and much different at this age. What does that look? What does a good scenario look like at that stage? Like, you're going to get married for the third time. Well, I know better now, and I won't make the same mistake. You just make new mistakes. You'll just make new mistakes. Seriously, because you're not prepared for what's coming down the road here. It's easy to say, well, women need to be held accountable. Yeah, okay, that's great, but you still have to be red pill aware enough to make the red pill sort of your second nature, to understand game to the point where it's not a game anymore. It's just who you are, and accept that. And accept that women are the way they are and you are the way you are. And so when I talk about how men and women are complements, innate, evolved complements to one another, what that means is that, for sake of illustration, my strengths compensate for my wife's weaknesses, and my weaknesses are compensated for by my wife's strengths. And people will go, oh my gosh, what are you? I'm invincible. I don't have any weaknesses. Well, there's things that women are better at than men are. And there's things that, lots of things that men are better at than women are. And when we get into trouble, the reason why we're in the shit stew that we're in right now is because we think we're not. Because we think we're standalone. Because we think we don't need the other. Because we think that we are blank slates. Women think that, well, I never needed a husband. I never needed a father for my kids. I'm just as good a father as any man could be. No, you're not. In fact, you put your children at a severe disadvantage because you believe that. Because women don't believe in complementarity between men and women. Are you kidding? Not today. They don't think they can trust men at all. Women think that men are just big children mostly. That's where it really kind of boils down to. But yeah, here I am, and I had to. I'll throw this up here as well. Because it's here at the end. Gosh, I wish I would have got to this a little bit earlier. But I have been looking at this. I think it was Brittany Martinez. I'm looking at her thread right now on Twitter, and this is pertinent to what we're talking about. Red pill guys on the internet. Women are hoes. Also, red pill guys, don't get married. You'll lose everything. Just sleep around. Well, typically the women who are not sleeping around are doing it because they're waiting for marriage. So maybe that's why you can't find them. Well, I think it's a misnomer to think that all women are just looking for marriage. They're looking for marriage to a high value guy that they believe that all of them are entitled to. We see that every day on Fresh and Fit. Hell, we see it on every goddamn show that Kevin has ever done. Still to this day. Okay, why? Why is that? Why are we even in the point right now where we can make a successful podcast on holding women accountable? Why is that? Why is that grist for the mill these days? Well, because women think they can do it all, or they think they are entitled to the best of the best, rather than being realistic about their positions and about their situations. Why is that? Well, because their attention is at a premium today. Affirmation is at a premium today. So, where do you take it from there? Now, I'm going to get this question, I'm sure, from Elijah. I've already got it from Lauren Southern at one point, where people say, well, how can you advocate for spinning plates and then at the same time be upset when you can't find a quality woman? I'm not advocating that. I don't believe in the quality woman. I believe that that's an ideal. And I have said that since day one, and people have thrown me into the bus for that. It is just as much an ideal as one-itis. It is just as much an ideal as the soulmate myth. You don't just find this perfect one, this needle in a haystack, this jewel in the rough. You create a good relationship. You build a relationship. You don't just find that relationship. Now, that said, it's not because men are fearful of marriage. It's not, oh, they're terrified and they just don't want to do it. They're just opting out. No, they're not just opting out. They see it for what it is because they are reminded of it every single day on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, name the platform. And every day you can doom scroll all day long on Twitter and find example after example after example. They don't want to get married because it's an unconscionable contract. Men have more leeway and more power outside of marriage over their own lives, more power outside of marriage than they do inside. It is what's known as an unconscionable contract. And if you want to know what that is, grab book 4. I outline it there. That is a legal term, unconscionable contract. What it really means is like if you knew all the details and you knew everything about the contract, no sane person outside of being coerced into it would ever agree to it. That's really what marriage has become for men. And by design too, I should say. So how do we change that? How do we change that? I'm not against marriage. I think the idea of being a man and wife, I think the idea of at least some kind of institutionalized monogamy is a good idea. It's good for building families. It's good for the children. It's good for the bedrock of Western society, right? Man, woman, babies, and a dog, right? That's been the bedrock for a long time, and not just, and even if you don't want the nice, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant version of that, there's other versions of that too. But there's at least a pretense of monogamy when it comes to parental investment. That's been the success of our species for a very long time, parental investment. And even if it's like not a lifetime commitment, you've still got to be committed to it for at least a while enough to provide protection, provisioning, and parental investment. Well, how do we go about doing that? How do we go about, women's mating strategies are adversarial to men's. How do we go about making something that is like, should it be a lifetime thing? I don't know. Should it be a legal thing? Should it just be a covenant marriage rather than like involving the state? There's arguments about that too. Should there be any kind of protections for men or women at all? You want to get together? We're all going to agree to this. Yes, I do. Do you? Yes. Okay, great. No state, no nothing. Is that a solution? Because we got to find some way to do this because right now it ain't working. And I think that's laughable. Sorry, Kevin. I don't mean this as a flame, but I think it's laughable to say I would get married again after 2 unsuccessful marriages. And I don't know how many kids he has. I know that there's rumors that Kevin Samuels has kids in Oklahoma or something like that. I don't know the details. But fact remains is if you think that marriage is a good idea in 2021, I have to question whether or not you are still thinking in terms of the old order, 20th century and earlier, or you're thinking of in terms of empirical data, statistics, and what we know about this and about about marriage in the 21st century. That's why I have a problem. Why do you have a problem with Jordan Peterson? Because it's old order thinking. We have to find something, and it's not promiscuity, and it's not poly, because poly leads down a very dark path, because we're not built for poly. Not in the formal sense, anyways. Are human beings promiscuous? Absolutely, they are. But is poly the answer to the polyamory the answer to that? No, because we have what's called the human jealousy response, and we also have mate guarding. So that ain't going to work. We got to find another workaround. What is that going to be? Right now, I can tell you exactly what that's going to be. It's going to be women sharing the alpha male while everybody else, all you guys, all your bloodline goes extinct as you jerk off at home, as you opt out of the game. Guess what? All the people who successfully reproduced before you, all their efforts were for shit because you've got porn. You've got whatever. I'm not saying it's your moral imperative. I'm just spelling out the details here. I'm just spelling out the reality of the situation that you're in. Your bloodline will go extinct. Your DNA will cease to exist. Maybe your brother can make it work. I don't know. But there has to be something else, and it ain't marriage, at least not in the way, and not in the old order way of thinking about it. So when people throw, and this, again, this was about the caller, and I'll tell you why it's about the caller, because the guy was saying, well, Rollo said that he would never get married again. I would not get married. And and Kevin Samuels, makes a common mistake, and I can't blame him because he's just ignorant of what I've said, and I don't mean that in a bad way. He just doesn't know. Is I've said in the past, I said, if I were to find myself suddenly single, or if I, God forbid, I was a widower or something like that tomorrow, I would never get married again at 53 years old. I've had a very good relationship with my wife. I still continue to. I love her. I would probably be just emotionally devastated if, she were to die or what, because that's the only way I can think of it. But, if I recovered from that and everything was fine, and I would say, okay, well, great. I'd probably date. I'd probably get back into it, but I would never marry again. And this guy wants to make it about like, oh, well, things were so much different back then. Well, yeah, they were. But men were still men and women were still women. And we still had adversarial, sexual strategies towards one another. The fundamentals don't change. Just the time, environment, and the context change. The machine doesn't change. The firmware doesn't change. Maybe the software changes over the time, but I would not get married again. Well, Kevin says, well, all these guys who are out there in their manosphere, these guys are already in relationships. Does that mean that I can't be like, here's the thing, like how, as I said in the very beginning of this podcast, either to tradcons, Rollo can't be red pill or can't be married because he's red pill, and black pill doomers and MGTOWs and, hardliner, even white pill guys. Rollo can't be red pill because he's married. Rollo can't be married because he's red pill. I don't get to win either way. So all I can do is my best. All I can do is report this stuff. All I can do is give you sort of the praxeological take on all of this. All I can do is present 20 years of work and let you guys sort of sort out the rest, because we're in a different generation, right? We're in a different environment. We're in a different context right now. So I would not get married again. And people say, well, you're just scared to lose half of your stuff. No, not really. At this stage, I'm like, how many more years do you think I got? God forbid, especially after Pat passing away. I want to do something significant with the remaining years of my life. Thank you very much. But I don't want to get married again. I wouldn't under these circumstances, at least in the institution. I'm not against marriage. I'm against the way we do it right now. And to say, oh, I'd be into it, let's go do it again. Third time's a charm. Dude, have you learned nothing? Have you nothing that I say? Have you learned nothing? Not until that institution changes or something better comes along. I'm not saying that men and women shouldn't be together. I'm not saying that men and women shouldn't have relationships. I think they did. I think they're better together than we are apart. I think we're natural complements. I'm just saying that the way we are putting it together and institutionalizing it is an all downside risk for men right now. That's what I'm saying, including myself. I know. I realize that. I've been accused of this all the time. Oh, yeah, Rollo's just married because it's cheaper to keep her. No, I enjoy my wife. Thank you. I'm in love with her. I have sex with her. It's awesome. I wish you could have it too. But I would not in this day and age say, let's all get married. It's so great. I'm not Matt Walsh. I'm not going to be like, well, a little lady. How did I get so lucky? My wife's lucky to have me. Are you fucking kidding me? I'll be the first one to say it. I introduced my wife to you. I will say that right to your face. Man, she's lucky to have me. No, you're so funny. No, I'm being straight up honest. She is lucky to have me. Go look at the, what is the female delusion calculator. She's fucking real lucky to have somebody like me. Like fraction of 1% lucky. But I'm not going to be a dick about it. I'm not going to be arrogant about it. It's just, that's what it is. You have more control and more power over your life outside of marriage than you will ever have in it right now. And that is not a flaw in relationships. It is a flaw in how we do marriage, and it is a flaw in what the sexual marketplace, the global sexual marketplace, has become in the 21st year of the 21st century, in our data age, in the new order right now. That's the flaw. It's not wanting a relationship. Guys want a relationship. I asked the guys yesterday on Rule 0. I said, I think I asked Sterling of all people. I said, hey, do you want kids in the future? She's like, yeah, I do. I want to have a wife and kids and blah, blah, blah. It's like, how are you going to facilitate that? I don't know. None of all the guys who are single, like he was saying, all these guys have wives and all these guys have long-term girlfriends and they're all about relationships and you shouldn't be afraid of it too. No, you should be not afraid of it, but you should certainly be judgmental. You should certainly be discerning. You should certainly be wary of it. You should certainly understand your own value in that relationship. And then decide for yourself whether that's worth the risk or it's not worth the risk. He's right about that. Relationships are risk. I don't care what they are, whether it's a business relationship or your family or your wife or whatever. There's always inherent risk in it. Is it worth the risk? Is the juice worth the squeeze? Most guys will go, no. Wait till you get to that point. What's funny is like people say the juice is worth the squeeze, but these are the first guys that they get a blowjob, they fall in love with the girl. You want that. Guys want that. Women want that. We want relationship. We want that complementarity and we desire it so much. What gets in the way is this fucked up software. It's this fucked up idea that of blank slate equalism and social constructionism. And are you a boy or are you a girl? And you're not alpha or you're not beta, blah, blah, blah. All that shit gets in the way of what you really want, which is relationships. He's not wrong about that. It's just that how we do it right now is fundamentally flawed. What did you say? After 2 marriages, an overnight bag will be my max commitment level of definitely nothing where the power of the state can be leveraged against me. Yeah. And I think you're probably not alone in that assessment. All right. So there we go. Do I need to look at anything else in here? I don't think I do. Boy, man, you guys have been very, very active today. We're at 3:45 and I don't want to, I got to cut this off before it's 4 hours. I'm sorry. My dogs are waiting outside the studio right now. I will be in Miami. So will Donovan Sharp, who is in the chat right now, yucking it up with Torsha and Ultimate Instigator and Technological Chaos is in there. Who else is in? I'm going to give you a shout out. I know Sammy's in there. Whatever else. The yellow pill is where it's at. Yeah, of course. What's the next pill? Your mama pill, the green pill, the gold pill. Isn't the orange pill like crypto? Give me another pill. Sorry, I gotta swallow another pill. Can we get past the pill thing? There's only red pill and there's only blue pill. The piss pill. Yep, you're right. All right, here you get it. You know what? That's the last one you're gonna get today. All right, this has been a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the clips that come from this because nobody's going to make it all the way to the 346 mark. Again, this is not a takedown or not any kind of like critique of Kevin Samuels. I could certainly go into that at some other time, but this is about the caller, really. This is about the reason why I say that is because the caller is sort of let's just say suffering from misunderstandings. Am I against marriage? No. Am I for marriage? No. Can I have both? Can I be both? Yeah. I can take it contextually. You have to be for it or against it. No, I don't. I'm up against the way we do it. I'm against the way it's been institutionalized. I think that I agree with Kevin that we need relationship. Sure. Men and women do. You want that. You want that. You want that sex. You want that girl. You want a worm. How many times have I heard this? I want a girl who loves me as much as I love her. You know what that is? That's your desire for a relationship. Whether you're going to get it or not is another story. Whether that's realistic or not is another story. And you know what women say all the time? I need a guy with a high value man. Well, whether that's realistic or not, the desire is still for that better life via relationship, right? So it's not, again, men and women are complements. We're better together than we are apart. We provide things for one another innately. And the reason why you say you can't see that happen is because you're still stuck to this idea of blank slate equalism, that you can fulfill all those aspects. There's lots of different ways. So anyways, that's my spiel for today. Again, I'll be in Miami. So will Donovan Sharp. So will the Tate brothers, and so will Fresh. And I will, and so will Sterling, and so will Justin Waller be there as well. I plan on doing I'm going to be a busy boy next week. I don't know. Torsha, are you going to be there? I don't know if you're going to be there or not. I don't know if you confirmed with me 100%. It'll be nice. We'll have a big party. We'll have a big red pill party while we're there. And then following week, I will be in Dallas, Texas. At least I'm scheduled to, anyways. I will be on Elijah Schaefer's multiple shows. He's got like 2 or 3 different shows, and he's part of the Blaze. If you don't know who Elijah Schaefer is, go look him up. You can find him easily on YouTube. After that, in January, first weekend of January, I will again be in Texas, in Houston this time, and that will be George Gammon's Rebel Capitalist conference, which is coming up. I got invited to that. I am a special VIP there. I'm going to try to do a workshop there if I can swing it. And then right after that, in the end of all places, at the end of January, I will be back in Florida again, but it'll be in Cape Coral. And there's a possibility I might make my way over to Miami briefly, but that's my travel itinerary for the next like 2 months. So 5th book is on the way. I'm just going to say it'll probably be out in the new year. I want to be able to take my time with it. So we'll have it out by January. That's my hard deadline. So book 5 on Game Player's Handbook will be available in January, if not sooner. I'll try to get it out sooner. So there you have it. If you have any questions, if you want to talk about Fresh, again, this show wasn't technically about Fresh. I just gave him an opportunity to talk about what was going on, and I will most definitely be doing a lot of live video while I'm out in Miami next week on my own. So Wednesday's show most likely will be sort of a live thing if I can swing it. I've got to go get a lav mic right now. And I've got a brand new camera ready to go. I've got a good live rig. I got my laptop ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to do my best to be on Rule 0 on Saturday. And I am going to try. I will not be able to do the Sunday show because I'm flying back on Sunday, but I will probably have a pre-recorded thing for you guys to watch on next Sunday, this time, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. That is it for me. I'm Rollo TOMASSI. This is the Rational Male. Thank you, and God bless you for that last $50 super chat. I will take you out to dinner. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right, guys. I'll see you in the week. Bye. Watch my socials. Bye.